Shalom Yasharallah, peace Israel. We're the Hebrew Israelites, and we're coming to you today with another lesson. First and foremost, we want to give our praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Akak Kodash. We want to give double honors to the apostles of Elder Grey Millstone who rule well. Peace, blessing, safety, and salutations unto the hopeful elect, to you believers and listeners out there. Much love and respect unto your brothers and your few sisters, to your brothers pushing this gospel in sincerity and truth. Shalom.
Shalom a ustedes negros, latinos, indígenas, que son el pueblo de Israel. Y queremos darle todo el respeto a los ancianos de la Gran Piedra Molino, donde aprendimos esta verdad. Porque sin esta verdad no supiéramos nada, estuviéramos ignorantes en esta vida. Estuviéramos siendo mexicanos, salvadoreños, negros, todas estas cosas, pero por el Espíritu Santo, esta verdad fue dada a estos hombres, que sabemos que somos el pueblo de Israel y sabemos el nombre de Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Y eso es todo, man. Eso es la diferencia de ser cristiano, católico, testigo de Jehová, y no tienen un nombre. So, doble honores a ellos y doble honores a los maestros que aprendimos y los hermanos que están edificando en las cuatro esquinas del mundo, porque esta verdad está saliendo en toda parte del mundo, en toda Latinoamérica, Europa, Estados Unidos, Asia. So, esta palabra ha corrido todo el mundo. ¿Y qué te dice? Cuando esta palabra venga, el fin vendrá. You know, because this word has gone over the whole world, and it tells you that when the gospel has gone through the whole world, then the end will come. And you see it coming now.
Yep, prophecies going off, man. All this judgment going off. I mean, it's time for you Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, you true biblical Israelites. It's time for y'all to wake up, man.
Judgment is going out big time.
Because they're not gonna tell you this in the Catholic Church. They're gonna tell you this in Christianity.
And that's the point I was making. That what's the difference between us and these churches? They don't have the name.
They don't have the name, or they're not going to tell you. They don't come in the spirit of prophecy either, man.
They're not going to give you what you say a breakdown.
Yeah, they're not going to break down the scriptures to you. The pastor, he's going to read one scripture and tell you his life story about back when he was in the way.
1976 when I played at the big game, and we got it pulled together, and we called upon Jesus, and we won the game.
Exactly.
That kind of stuff.
They giving y'all, and then ultimately they're giving you false hope. That's really what they're doing, and then they're setting you up for destruction, because here it is. These churches are telling you to go take this vaccination. Ooh. They're telling you they leading you to the slaughter, man. When we're telling you not to do it because it goes against the law, statutes, commandments of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. It goes against it's pretty much the same laws, the tattoos.
Right.
Not make not pricking the skin, man. Right. And that's what you're doing when you getting punched to death. Because that's pretty much what you're doing. You're getting punched to death by Maxine Waters.
And what's inside that is what is another abomination.
Exactly, because they got
fetal tissue from the 1960s.
Fetal tissues, and then they got pig particles,
and they got horseshoe crab.
Yeah, yep.
That's an unclean animal. You can't even eat it. So why would you want to put humans inside your body? Man?
And then look at it on a worldly sense. Why would you put your trust in something in this magic potion that it took them 8 months, 8 to 10 months to make? When you do your research, it takes 5 to 10 years to perfect it.
Yeah.
And if you want to look at it on a deeper level, they're using y'all as the damn as the test subject, as the guinea pig.
The guinea pigs.
Exactly. That's all that they're using.
But that's all they've always been using our people for that.
Exactly.
The gynecologists, they use the women slaves to do atrocities to them, right? And that's how they get. Every woman now has a gynecological exam, but somebody had to torture a woman to do it. Exactly. A so-called slave. Man.
Exactly. And so, out of all this time we've been here in the history of this planet, we've been over here, when have they ever had our best interests at heart? When have we ever been at the first in line to get anything? Exactly. How about never? So, like that's not a red flag going off in your head saying that, okay, something's not right. They're not giving it to their people.
I live in the worst place. I eat the worst food. I'm always last, but they want me to go first. Let me think about this.
Exactly. Y'all just, Jake, Jake and Eve is really Eve, man. Like, here it is. A couple of days ago, the beloved brother right here sent me a video of this Eve, this so-called Negro chick. She went and got punched to death, and she looked like the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Ooh.
She looked like the goddamn hunchback of Notre Dame. She was talking about how her head got swollen and one of her eyes shut and how she felt sick and dizzy and all that. And like,
and you know the crazy part of all that? She worked in the medical field.
Exactly. She
And
worked in the.
what did she say?
She never took any vaccine.
Never. That's what
She said that she was healthy all her life.
So why all of a sudden would you take one? When they put that carrot in front of her, man.
Yeah. They told her, pretty much told her, all right, if you want to keep working, you want to keep making this money,
right?
If you want to keep thriving in Babylon,
that's right.
You got to take this. And you know, and it's coming to a time they're going to do that to all of us, man.
Right.
But that's really Yahweh Bashim Yahushua testing your character to see whether you're going to fold or you're going to stand firm for his words, man. And a lot of people gonna fold.
Oh, we know that already.
Exactly.
The scriptures tell you that.
The scriptures tell you that.
Right. The scriptures tell you that every single time. You know.
And all this that you seeing going on, from DMX dying to all these people falling, you know, dying through, natural disasters.
And what was it? 1 month before that, he went to the HOI in Atlanta. They told him the truth, and he said, "I've been knowing the truth for a minute."
And he didn't do.
Didn't he have a tattoo? Exodus, whatever, 16:4, or whatever it was.
Yep.
But basically, he's talking about the Israelites.
Yep.
So he knew he was an Israelite.
He
but
knew,
he was
but
wicked.
He didn't. He was wicked. And after he heard that, because pretty much when he went to that camp, that was Yahweh reaching his hand out.
Yeah.
And as it says in Psalms, the first chapter, Psalms, Proverbs, the first chapter, he said, I reached out my hand, but no man regarded. So when your calamity comes, I'm gonna laugh, roughly paraphrase.
Right.
And that's pretty much what happened.
He gave an opportunity.
He had an opportunity.
Right.
He gave him that. Then he went and took that crackination, and then that
a week later,
he had a heart attack.
A week later, he had a heart attack.
And then he was in a fucking vegetative state. And then then they said he was in a coma. It's not telling what he was going through spiritually and mentally while he was sleeping. Right. Yahweh was probably jacking
him up. That's right. And guess what? They'll tell you he had an overdose. But they're not telling you is that he took the jab a week before and it had an effect on his heart. And basically doing that sealed him. That was the last straw, man. He said, "Get out of here, man.
He was like,
you've been doing wickedness since the 90s, bro."
Shit,
you know what I mean?
Before then, man.
Yeah, well, I mean,
But I know
he grew up in New York, right?
Yep.
You think there were no Israelites out there in the streets when he was young? Come on, man. They've been out there since the 60s, man.
Exactly.
So he's 50 years old. He's got a couple years on me. So that means he was growing up during the early 70s.
Exactly. So I'm pretty sure he was seeing them out there.
Or maybe he laughed at them. You know what I mean?
Mocking and scoffing, man.
But he got judged.
He got his judgment.
It took, but it's not gonna happen right away. That's why people go, these people got away with murder. I'm gonna keep going, right?
Exactly. They're not knowing. That's because they don't have the fear of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua.
It's like the IRS, man. They're building up charges on you, man.
Exactly.
And then they come at you, you owe $100,000. Wait a minute, I only owe $5,000, but you accumulate all that money, interest.
Exactly. So we're gonna be going into judgment today. And I want to start off with the definition of judgment. It's from the Oxford Dictionary. The first definition: judgment, the ability to make considered decisions or come to sensible conclusions. And some of the simpler words they have is discernment, common sense, shrewdness.
Common sense. You don't see
that. Common sense is common.
Yeah.
Discrimination, wisdom, prudence, understanding, intelligence, awareness, sharpness, cleverness, reason, logic. Now the second definition of misfortune or calamity viewed as a divine punishment. And that's what happened to the rapper DMX. He got
Earl Simmons.
Exactly. He had a calamity because it's not a misfortune because it was all designed for Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. That was just his part of the movie he had to play out.
That's it, man.
And that was divine. That was his divine punishment from Yahweh Bashim Yahushua.
And he's not going to enjoy the kingdom after the 1,000 years that come in. So that's his judgment. He's not going to enjoy the kingdom of heaven for the first 1,000 years, man. He's going to have to come in to the loins of his tribe after the 1,000 years.
By one of the members of the elect.
Because a lot of people be, well, I'm in the kingdom of heaven. I'm good, man.
Those are going to be the ones that have that everlasting contempt, man.
They're going to be the least, and it's going to be a daily reminder. People are going to be looking at you down, bro.
Or just be shaking their head
every time, like, oh, there goes Earl Simmons shining shoes over here, or whatever, Now, obviously, we're not going to be doing that because we're going to have other people below us.
but
we're gonna be there.
There's gonna be a rank and file in the kingdom.
Just like there is now. You got governors, heads of state, and stuff
Yep.
like that. They got your regular six-pack Joe Edomite. He's on the corner over here. It's between there. You know what I mean?
Yep. So we'll see. And then the other similar words they have for the second definition is punishment, retribution, and penalty. And he was penalized for his wicked actions, man,
Yeah.
along with everybody else. Because the scriptures say, don't nobody die being righteous.
There's not one being,
Because either you did something in this lifetime or one of your past lifetimes you get judged for.
Because a lot of people think it's an accident.
There's
You
no
get in
such
a car
thing as an
accident. There is no accident.
No, because that's how Shah wanted to go. But let's go and get into these scriptures. This is 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 17. For the time is come that judgment must begin at the house of God. And it is first began at us. What shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of the Most High? And the house of God is really talking about the nation of Israel, but it's really starting with the elect. It's really starting with all of Israel, honestly, to tell you the truth.
But it's only for the elect.
Exactly.
Because there ain't, no 2/3 is going to get on this side.
Exactly.
So it's really just the elect.
Exactly.
Because even in Romans 11, it tells you what is Israel hasn't obtained, only the elect.
Exactly. The
So
election.
it's not about all of Israel. It's only of the elect of Israel.
Exactly.
Right?
The 1/3. Go ahead, Doc.
Este es 1 Pedro, capítulo 4, versículo 17. Ya ha llegado el tiempo en que el juicio comienza por la propia familia de Dios. Y la familia de Dios es el pueblo de Israel, que son ustedes negros, latinos e indígenas. ¿Sí? Y si el juicio está comenzando así por nosotros, ¿cómo será el fin de los que no obedecen el Evangelio de Dios? Porque hay leyes y estatutos que tuvimos que seguir como un pueblo, y cuando abandonamos esas cosas fuimos juzgados y fuimos votados y nos tiraron a estos perros, man. You know, because when we broke that covenant, the Most High cast us to these dogs, man.
Yep.
And now the dogs are tearing us apart, man.
That's going into like Lazarus, man.
Right. So a lot of people think that they were healing them, but actually they were taking from them. You know what I mean?
It was taking his life force from him, pretty much. And that's what these other nations are doing to us, man. They're taking our life force from us.
You see, everybody who's got stores in your neighborhood, they're not your people for the most part.
Exactly.
You got East Indians, right? You got Koreans, you got Hamites, Ethiopians, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
Elamites.
You got all these
all
other
them
nations.
subways they own, or the crusty ass hotels, are all Elamites, man. So,
and then, like, how is it they come from all these foreign countries, and they able to
because ESO sets them up. They got deals with them, man.
Exactly.
They got low interest loans they can give them.
I was just watching a video yesterday that a brother had did, and it was going to. Did you know that the Iraqi prisoners got reparations?
Oh no.
No, I just found that out. Later on I'll show you the video.
Okay.
How willing it's
Everybody's got reparations. The Japanese, the Italians, they've all got.
Everybody got it except for us.
Of course.
But
that's
just going into Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, in the curses. He said no man's gonna be able to redeem us.
That's right.
But Yahweh Shai is the only one that Yahweh Shai is our reparation.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's not coming for anybody but for the house of Israel.
For the elect.
That's what the Christians will say, oh, I'm ready for the rapture. You're not even on the list, man. You're not even on the roster. You can't get in, man.
Exactly.
You know
they don't even say nothing about no rapture in the scriptures, man.
That was made up in the 1880s. The actual word rapture is not in the scriptures, but there's a whole doctrine behind it.
Yep.
Just like every God is all love. Where is that in the scriptures? There is, that doctrine does not exist. It's made up.
Exactly.
So there's a whole made up bunch of stuff that these people have fantasized and created, and that's how our people follow up their philosophies of men.
Yep. All right, so this is Genesis 18. All right, so this is Genesis chapter 18, verse 19. For I know him, that he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of Yahweh to do justice and judgment, that Yahweh may bring upon Abraham that which he has spoken of him. And that is what is spoken of him is, the king, going back to our promised land, because we're supposed to be over there right now. But according to the curses, because we didn't serve Yahweh Shem Shai in truth and sincerity and with love, we got kicked out of our land. He said we're not gonna see it no more. We're gonna go into Egypt again, which is slavery, on ships.
And that's fulfilling the other side of the coin.
Exactly.
One side of the coin is living in righteousness, right? Just like this coin. You got heads, you got tails, right? And the heads
was the blessings.
Yeah, and tails is Esau. You know, Esau the eagle, right? And that's who's conquering over us. Now that basically we have to do both to know righteousness,
exactly.
right?
To appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you can never appreciate righteousness if you don't know wickedness.
Exactly.
And we're gonna be true balance because we're gonna know both.
Yep.
And we're gonna be able to judge these nations accordingly because we have been living on both sides. We know wickedness because we've been among wickedness, and doing the law, statutes, and commandments is going to be righteous. And we're going to bring a whole new level of righteousness that has never existed on the whole planet Earth. And we're going to bring that to the next level.
And if you look at it on a deeper level, that's really what the serpent was telling Eve in the garden. When he said, you know, I'll make you, you know, I'll raise you up to where you'll know both, you'll know good and evil. And you know, that's pretty much, we know good and evil. Right. And we appreciate good that much more than really we do now, because we know we've been woken up to who we are, and you know what's in store for us. So that just makes us want to do right even more, because so we can low key try to make our calling and election sure and solidify our spot in the kingdom.
Because you can't truly be happy because when you're sad or you're depressed or you have the blues, right? When you're happy, you appreciate when you're happy.
Exactly.
Because now you know, damn man, when I was feeling like that, now I feel great. Yep. That's tremendous. Because you can remember how you felt when you were down, but now you're up, and that's a huge feeling. But you can never gauge that because you're not down. Now you're up. Exactly. You have to have both. So that's like
that's balance.
That's right. That's a righteous balance. So that's like when you have those very wealthy kids, and they've always had money. They don't give a shit about it. It doesn't mean anything to them. Nothing means anything to them. They're spoiled.
But you give it to somebody that's in the hood or a homeless person,
they might do something with that money. They might start a business to help other people or whatever it might be, right? But these people are you know, they don't care. Money has been growing on trees and on the back of our people. Yeah, that's right. So it doesn't mean anything, you know. There's all these videos on it, but este es Génesis capítulo 18, versículo 19. Yo lo he escogido para que mande a sus hijos. Él es el Abraham, ¿sí? Yo lo he escogido para que me mande a sus hijos y descendientes que obedezcan en mis enseñanzas y hagan todo lo que es bueno y correcto para que yo cumpla todo lo que ha prometido. So, él sabía que Abraham les iba a enseñar las leyes, iba a juzgar las naciones. Sí, eso es el punto. Because you have to understand that Abraham's descendants are gonna judge the nations.
And it's talking about the chosen seed. It's not talking because you know everybody.
A lot of people.
We all came from Abraham.
Right.
But it was a seed because you see, Abraham. You know, he had lots of kids, but the
Ishmael wasn't chosen. He was firstborn.
Exactly. The chosen was Isaac. That's why they said the God of Abraham, Isaac, and then Isaac had Jacob and Esau. And Jacob was the one who was chosen, even though Esau was the firstborn.
But it was declared before they were even born.
Exactly. And really, this whole thing was declared.
Already, it's this whole setup. It's a setup, man.
Exactly.
It's a whole setup, but it had to be unfolded, you know?
Exactly. It's like a movie. You know, he just don't get, just go right into
the action scene. You gotta build it up, man. Oh man, you know, like you gotta have
the build up. You gotta have the plot twist,
the drama,
and all that.
The villain. There's no great movie if there's no villain. They're just out there, skip to Malou. There's nothing going on. That's gonna be a dry movie.
Dry.
What are those 007 movies? There's always a Mr. E or Mr. Doctors or the science, a madman, right? Trying to take over the world. And it's all what? Esau, man. All of them. So there's always a protagonist and an antagonist, and that's where, who's fulfilling right now and who's ruling. It's Esau. So when we rule, we're gonna do it in righteousness.
And we're gonna show y'all how it's done.
Oh man.
So this is the same chapter, Genesis chapter 18, verse 25. That be far from thee to do after this manner, Salakia, to slay the righteous with the wicked, and that the righteous should be as the wicked, that be far from thee, shall not the judge of all of the earth do right. And that's pretty much because the Israelites are the righteous.
Right.
The wicked is judging us. And we're like the wicked because I mean look at the condition of our people, man.
Yeah, you throw a rotten apple, all those apples are gonna come rotten.
Exactly.
So that's what happened to us. That
one bad apple will ruin the whole bunch, man.
And when we were among the Gentiles, what?
We took on their ways, we took on their customs. And I mean, look at it. We don't even know who the majority of our people don't even know who the hell they are now, man.
Nope. They'll tell you a citizenship or a religion.
Exactly.
All kinds of crazy
and that's the spirit you brought that up because earlier this week, when me and my wife was at Walmart, we walking out, some Israelite brother came walking up to us talking to, hey, if you died now, would you go to heaven? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, okay, what makes you think that? I was like, because one, there's no such thing as hell. Heaven and hell are a condition, and I would, when you die, you go straight to the spirit world.
Right.
And so, I asked him, I had to pull Elder Menachem. I say, hey, you ever heard of the Hebrew Israelites? And I don't know if brother was slow, or if he was high, or under the influence, anything. He just,
like Babylon juice.
Yeah, man. I was like, you ever heard of the Hebrew Israelites? And he was like, I really can't say. So I was like, well, okay. I said, I was telling him, first I asked what was his nationality. He was like, Christian. And I was like, no, bro. I said, what are you? I was like, Mexican, Puerto Rican, white. I was like, what are you? He was like, oh, I'm Mexican. I said, okay. Well, according to the Bible, you're from the tribe of Issachar. You're one of Jacob's, Israel's 12 sons. You from the descendant of him. And, I started breaking it down to him, and you can just, I'm looking at him, and like,
the glazed look.
You just, so I was like, you know what?
But he had to receive that so that.
So, I was really trying
all those words, all his judgment he's gonna have to fulfill.
Exactly, because now he can't say that he don't know.
Exactly. And
I also told him, I said, go on to YouTube and type in GMS Hebrew Israelites. I said, the word is out there, man. Just do your research.
Right.
So, but go ahead.
So he was gonna drop a seed on you, and you dropped it on him.
Exactly. I hit him
What's
with
going on here? What's burning my back?
We pretty much played that hot potato real quick.
Yeah.
He threw it to me, and I was like, nah, right back.
Right back. That's right. Este es Génesis capítulo 18, versículo 25. No es posible que no hagas eso de matar al inocente junto al culpable, como si los dos hubieran cometido los mismos pecados. Ni hagas eso. Tú que eres el juez supremo de todo el mundo, ¿no harás justicia? Lo que te está diciendo que nosotros vamos a hacer justicia al final, ¿eh? Ya cuando salgamos de esta captividad, vamos a ser una gente justa, ¿no? Vamos a juzgar el mundo de acuerdo a las leyes y estatutos que están en estas santas escrituras. Y no importa si eres un musulmano o un budista, todo eso se va a acabar, ¿no? No va a haber eso, because there's not going to be no more Muslims and Buddhists and all that stuff.
No.
You either serve the God of Israel or die, man.
Or no rain.
Yeah, that's right.
You first starts off
that's
with
right.
no rain.
Yeah, gradualism. That's right. There's gonna be no rain in that, so you're gonna be able to grow no crops. You're gonna have to pay your taxes and all that stuff. So you're gonna be out of there, man. There's gonna be no choice.
Yep, and you can tell, man, these religions, they destroying our people, man. Because like going back to that brother that I was talking about, I mean, like he was on that Babylon juice, man. He looked like a whole straight zombie out there, man. And I'm just like, come on,
that's what America. Hey, that's what. What are those movies that we saw in the Night of the Living Dead, Zombie Apocalypse? We're talking about our people, man.
Exactly. And that's our people to the T. Because I'm just sitting there looking. I'm like,
the Valley of the Dry Bones.
I'm like, come on, bro. Like, here it is. I'm giving you good news, and you just,
yeah.
But whatever, man. That's like we were saying, man. Everybody has to play out their part in that movie. Not everybody's gonna make it.
Not everybody's gonna be the hero. Exactly. Somebody's gotta get killed in the movie. Like,
somebody has to be
somebody helps him, right? Somebody helps him to get there, and he dies. Oh, thanks a lot, bro. And he keeps it going. He gets the girl, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
The credits roll, and they don't remember who the hell helped them.
Exactly. So this is Exodus chapter 12 and 12. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt I will execute my judgment. I am Yahweh. And even though this is something that happened in the past, the point being is Yahweh will execute his judgments, right? He's going to do it on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Right.
He's going to,
there's judgment going on every day.
But
second, now it's like, every second for reals. But now you're gonna see it more
On the
because
higher scale.
you're gonna see all those people that sold themselves out.
Yeah.
All these politicians, all these basketball players, all these NFL players, all these
rappers,
artists, all these musicians, all these artists. Everybody who's got money up in this society that you're trying to be like or follow, they all have to do rituals to be part of that position.
Yeah, that's what they're not telling y'all. Y'all just think that they got found off the street and they got put in a training camp or they got put in the booth or whatever and now here they are. Nah, man, it's levels to this shit, man.
Because some of these guys are not very good artists, but you see them selling records like crazy because they have every technology to make you sound good, with auto-tune and all kinds of great stuff.
And it depends on, how high up are they in their level, in that secret society that they're in,
or Masonry or whatever.
Or, depending on, how much they're going into these rituals. Because you have some, you have some that pretty much, I'll half-ass, or I'll be the mediocre one. I'll put in every now and again. You got the ones that's pretty much going hard. Going hard. And if you look at it in a spiritual sense, that's kind of what we're doing.
That's opposite.
On the right hand side, because you got some brothers in the truth. You got some brothers that's in this truth that that they just putting off. They giving it the bare minimum. That's the word I was looking for. They giving the bare minimum, and then you got some brothers that's in this truth. That's they giving it all they got. And and that should be the ultimate goal for every brother, to try to give it all you got, man, because scriptures say many are called but few are chosen, man. Right. You got to make your calling and election sure. Absolutely. And that's one of the scary things about being in the truth, man.
Falling out the truth.
Exactly. Falling out. He can keep the spirit on you, think you're still,
and take it away from you at any time, because that was a gift. If you're not making the most of that gift,
don't be that brother hiding your talents and burying it in the napkin. Hiding it in the napkin or hiding it in the earth. But go ahead, Doc.
Esto es Éxodo capítulo 12, versículo 12. Esa noche yo pasaré por todo Egipto y heriré de muerto al hijo mayor de cada familia egipcia y a las primeras crías de sus animales y dictaré sentencia, que es juicio, contra todos los dioses de Egipto. Yo, Yahweh, lo he dicho. Esto pasó en Egipto y los egipcios fueron juzgados. ¿Cómo? Por matar su primer nacido de cada casa. Y no nomás él, primer nacido de sus crías, man. Dices, ¿qué se hizo esas vacas? Because that's a cold story, because the firstborn had to die, but even more, the firstborn of their cattle.
Yep.
Like, what the hell did the cattle have to do? Nothing. But he was the property of those people.
Yep.
So that's why that judgment had to go out to every living thing.
Every living thing.
And that is scary, because you see your child die and whatever, and then the next door you see their children, and then they see their firstborn cattle. That's a psychological warfare, man.
Yeah.
And you have to understand that this was already a progression, because it started with all these, blood, frogs, darkness, lice or fleas, and that.
And you see
that's crazy.
And you see the attitude of Pharaoh after he lost his firstborn, because Moses, Moses has been trying to reason with him, but Yahweh kept hardening Pharaoh's heart.
That's right.
Exactly. It goes to show you that
he was
in control, man.
He's a puppet, man. Exactly. We're all puppets. Exactly. And that's all we're all playing. We're all playing our part in the movie. We're in a movie right now as we speak. And everybody's got their they got 2/3, they got 1/3, they got scoffers. You got a little bit of everything, man.
Yep, a little bit of everything. Yeah. So this is First Ezra, chapter 4, verse 40. Neither in her judgment is any unrighteous. And it's her that is talking about. It's talking about wisdom. It's not talking about no woman, because wisdom is likened unto a woman. And I want to say, is it in the Latin? In the Latin or the Greek, the word Sophia is wisdom.
Yeah.
Okay? So neither in her judgment is any unrighteousness. And she is the strength, kingdom, power, and majesty of us all. Blessed be the Most High, God of truth. And that's right, man. Neither in wisdom's judgment is any unrighteousness, because she is righteous. I want to say, wisdom tries the spirit, man. She's gonna try you to see, she's gonna test your integrity.
What verse was it again?
40, chapter 4, verse 40.
40. First Ezra?
That's why it's important to have that fear of Yahweh Shem Shai, because you never know what's gonna be expected, man. What's gonna come your way. Go ahead,
Este es tercer Esdras, capítulo 4, versículo 40. En su juicio nada hay influente, ella es la fortaleza y ella es sabiduría. Lo que el hermano estaba diciendo, Sofía. En tiempos de Grecos llamaban a sabiduría un nombre, Sofía. ¿Sí? So, esto es lo que está hablando de ella. Ella es la fortaleza, el reino, la potencia y la magnitud de todos los siglos. Bendito sea Dios de verdad. So, eso es la verdad que es esta palabra. ¿Sí? No hay otra verdad. There isn't another truth. There's only one truth.
There's only one truth. There's no other way. Like Yahweh Shai said, He is the way. And if somebody else, if some man try to come any other way, he's a thief and a robber,
That's
man.
right. That's right. It's very good you bring that, because a lot of people, well, I'm a Christian and
that's not the way.
I'm a Baptist, and okay, what's the name? Because I gotta ask them, what's the name? Oh, it's Jesus. They just the brother from Los Angeles, GMS Shashaya, he just did a video on the name Yahweh. Because somebody asked him, how do you know the name? You know, because there's people coming into the truth now all the time. How do you know that is the name? And he's like, this is a great question.
Yeah.
This is a great question, because we could be making it up, right? We could be making it up.
Exactly.
So the guy goes, look, our elders at GMS taught us this, but more importantly, they taught us how to find it and how to look for yourself.
Exactly.
And he showed, he did a whole video on the name Yahweh, mentioned Yahweh Shai, and then did a whole video on Yahweh Shai. And went to the blue letter. Here's Isus, and then you go and it tells you it comes from the Hebrew. And you go to the Hebrew, right? And it's Joshua. That they didn't use Joshua in the New Testament. They said Jesus. That's a whole lie. See, and a lot of those people have that Jesus juice mentality, man.
Exactly. Not knowing that, you know, that's not the way, man. But you know, what did it say? That Yahweh will give them over to a strong delusion that they should believe a lie.
That's right.
And that's our people. They believe in a lie.
They believe a lot, that's right, but that's their lot. Those 2/3 of those people, that was their lot. So if you know this truth, si tú sabes esta verdad, deberías de ser, darle gracias al Padre Todopoderoso, porque 2/3 de esta gente fue designada a destrucción y no va a recibir esta verdad. ¿Sí? Hay mucho juicio saliendo ahorita, hay muchos de estos profesionales, atletas y actores, cantantes, están muriendo, man. Están cayendo como moscas. You know, because judgment's going out, and 2/3 of the house of Israel has to die.
Yep.
Has to die. There's no ifs about it. Well, I'm going to repent, brother, right before I die. You know what I mean?
Nope.
They're going to anoint me and all kinds of crazy stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way, man.
Nope. That's why scriptures say, seek Yahweh Shem Shai in the days of your youth.
Yeah, that's right.
Because
Because the days, your wickedness. Yeah.
Because that will pretty much show him how serious sincere that you are. Because if you commit all this wickedness throughout your lifetime, and then when you're on your deathbed, you try to call yourself trying to repent, that's pretty much a slap in the face, man. You pretty much saying
A whole life of wickedness, and then you're about to check out. But by the way,
exactly. He
I
ain't
repent
dealing
of all of that.
He ain't dealing with no people like that, because, like, you know, yeah, okay, it had, you know, goes into having faith, but you gotta back that faith up with works, man.
That's right.
Whether it's following law, statutes, commandments to the best of your ability,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's doing video epistles, whether, you know, while you out on your day-to-day telling people, you know, try to spread the word,
Hey,
you know, it's all different types of ways for you to back up your faith, and that's pretty much going into contending or defending this gospel, man.
And say this, it's not like you're coming to the truth and the next day you're just gonna go out on the highways and byways.
No, it
It's
takes
been
years. You gotta build up, man.
It's like going to the gym.
Yep.
You gotta get in shape. You gotta start going, moving weights and exercising and all kinds of stuff. You're just not gonna be ripped and in shape in a week.
Exactly.
It takes months and not years.
Exactly.
You know, so you just found about this truth, which is a glorious thing. Be studious, man.
Yeah.
Be studious. Blessed is he who reads.
Blessed is
right?
he who reads. It also says,
Find great teachers.
It also says,
right?
What's the scripture says about study to show yourself
Self-approved.
approved.
That's right.
Gone.
And you find yourself great teachers, and you're going to be a great student.
Exactly.
That's going to make you a greater man.
Exactly.
A more knowledgeable person. And that's why we follow the Great Millstone, because they have great teachers, man. And those elders have created great students that are now elders in the truth, and they reflect
Yep.
the elders, man. It's like a mirror, man.
Yeah.
It's beautiful that way,
Exactly,
man.
exactly. And you know, we're not gonna sit here and say that every man's gonna be a prophet. Not
And that's
every man,
another
not
thing,
every man is gonna be a
Not
teacher.
everybody was a prophet in the olden days.
Exactly.
Too. But guess
you
what?
had people that believed and they backed up their belief. They
That's
backed
right.
up their faith through their works. Whether it was to, you know, giving tithes unto the prophets, or you know, just helping them out in any type of way they can.
Whatever,
Following
yeah.
the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability. Try to offend less. Or you know, even you know, they'll even you know, while it probably was out on their day to day, you know, they probably you know was talking to it amongst their neighbors, or you know, somebody they was cool with or whatever. You know, they probably you know going back and forth with them. You know, pretty much defending the gospel and you know trying to you know give an answer to what they believe, because the scriptures say that you know we always need to be ready to give an answer to what we believe.
That's right.
That's right. So, hey man, just you know, if the spirit is on you to teach, shit, get your ass out there and teach, man.
Right.
But make sure that you're well learned and
Well-versed in
well
your
learned.
doctrine, yeah.
Exactly. Because you don't want to make the ministry get blamed for anything, man.
You're gonna go out there and start knocking dudes out because they don't believe him.
And, you know that's out of order, man. That's out of order, man.
Right.
Because Yahweh Shai said, you know, if this is my kingdom, my servants will fight.
Right.
But
Or you're gonna try preaching this word to people that don't want to hear it.
Exactly.
No,
that's
but
why, that's why we don't. That's why we're not in the hoods.
Man.
Because you know you can go out to the hoods or whatever, but come on, let's be realistic. How many people in the hood gonna want to hear this, man?
No.
Shit, we're here at this nice ass park where different diversities of people come to you know walk and have fun and you know play around and
Because-
shit. We barely get any people to come by, and you know that's like that. You know when they're out there on the highways or when they're out there on the corners.
And there's various camps all over downtown Houston, from IUCP, IUIC, GMS, lots of
GLCC,
camps.
all
And we're in the north of Houston, so we're like, you know what? We're gonna set up a camp here because I don't see no brothers out here really.
No.
I've never really on this side. Maybe 7 miles south, 10 miles south. I've seen them, but not this far north. Never. So I
No.
said, you know what? We're gonna bring this gospel right over here.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And you know, we had a few people. You know, about a month and a half ago, we had a brother come walk up to us. Last week, before we started, before the cameras was rolling, some little kids came, asked us for our YouTube channel. That one time, that old lady asked us, for our
Yeah,
YouTube
yeah.
channel. So I mean, we're reaching out to people.
But more than anything, we're just prophesying to the wind.
Exactly,
Because
because
in
we're
the end, only the elect are gonna receive it.
Exactly.
So all
and
these
then on top
people
of
here,
that, go ahead.
other people here, they're just here as background. If you see,
Exactly.
you ever see a movie and you ever see somebody working in the back?
Yeah, you got the extras.
1A1 and
Yeah.
whatever, and they don't have no speaking roles. They're just
Exactly. Just
see. This is all a movie. These are all extras, man. And
exactly.
They're not really important.
And even though we might not get a lot of people come up, we're still backing up our faith by coming out here to do
Right.
this work.
Because there's a lot of people that might know this truth, but guess what? I don't want to go out there. That's crazy. That makes
Exactly.
you look like crazy. My
Exactly.
boss might see you.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it's people out here laughing at us. We
Oh.
got the ancient garments on
Yeah.
or whatever, but
Shaking their heads all the time. We see them all the time.
yeah.
Pastor Michael.
Exactly. But
But-
we looking like fools for your house shot state.
It tells you that.
Exactly.
The fools
Exactly.
of this world. That's right.
Exactly. And then going back into, and I know we're doing a lot of rambling with them, but it's just it's
the
all,
Spirit
it's
is telling
all-
you that we gotta get
because
some,
we're going about the Spirit. But
Yeah.
back when we were saying that that those people do stuff on the left hand side and the right hand side, we pretty much this is like because in order for people to get into the industry and whatever, get big, one of the rituals they have to go through is a humiliation ritual.
Oh yeah.
And on the right hand side, that's what we're doing.
Yeah. You're right about that.
We're
Because everybody looks at us and they just disdain that, or they don't
Exactly.
even like what they got to see, or the posters we got out there. Just shake their head and keep it walking.
Yeah, either shake our head or look at them.
Just-
look at what they got on or whatever.
Yeah.
And, but hey, this is what we wore in ancient times.
That's
or
right.
whatever.
Yeah.
We wouldn't always have shorts or pants and what we did and whatever, but mainly these were the garments back then, man. But hey, like I said, man, we doing this because we showing our love and our faith to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, man. Because
Hey.
we want to get those crowns placed on our head, man.
Yeah. We're just of the hopeful elect.
Con.
Hopefully,
And
that's when we have hope.
and like the brother was saying in the video that I was watching earlier on the way here to camp, he said if you knew that you was part of the elect, you wouldn't be doing no work.
Oh yeah.
That's why
that is
and, you know, Yahweh set it up like this, and it's beautiful, man, because
it
gives us something to look forward to. We come out here every week, you know, and it's really just week in and week out. You know, we're doing our video epistles as well. We're doing this because, you know,
this is the most important thing there is, really,
exactly.
besides the epistle, because we're putting on that frequency out here. You know, you're giving that judgment out, right? Because these people, they've never ever seen this. They may have seen it on TV, but they never seen it. This is the opportunity that they come up and go ask a question. You know, I might have to put out a sign, go, you have any questions? Come on up, you know? Because people are just looking. That lady looked and she kind of looked hard, and then she saw us talking, and then she just kept walking.
Yeah. You know, if she come back around, you know, we'll see if she have a question, man. But hey, we just out here trying to, you know, please Yahweh Shem Shai and pray to be counted worthy in his eyes. But this is 2nd Ezra chapter 5, verse 42. And he said unto me, I will liken my judgment unto a ring, like as there is no slackness of the last, even so there is no swiftness of the first. So pretty much what it means is his judgment is like a ring, is continual, is ongoing, and whatever. And the same way it is at the first, that's how it's gonna be in the last, man. I mean, who are you to question how our heavenly Father, how he operates, man? I mean, we're just mere men, man. What the scripture say, man? Is the pot gonna ask the potter why you form me thus?
Right. So, este es 4 Esdras, capítulo 5, versículo 42. Él me dijo, mi juicio puede ser comparado como un círculo, como las partes de atrás no van del desafío, así de delante no van de despreciar. So, así es el juicio del Señor, como un anillo, man. Un anillo va a dar vuelta y vuelta y vuelta, no hay fin. Nacimos, vivimos, morimos, vamos al reino del Espíritu, la 4ª dimensión, descansamos por 3 y 4 generaciones y luego regresamos y agarramos el juicio que hicimos en esta vida. You know, because we're born, right? We live a life, and then we die, and then we go to the 4th dimension, the spiritual realm. We're told our judgment, and in 3 or 4 generations, we come and are born, and we receive that judgment that we did in that last life. Right? So that's continuous, never ending, continually going. So our forefathers are still in the spirit world and are probably going to be born, or have been born. You know, 3 or 4 generations ago, slavery. You know that they're the babies being born now. Like your son could be your great-great-grandfather.
Yeah, I was gonna say I won't be surprised. You know, I got my great-grandfather, my great-great-grandfather, my great-great-uncle.
It's all within your line. That's
exactly
right. That's right.
But so from there we're gonna go to Exodus chapter 23, verse 2. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many to wrest judgment. And you know, going back to the Maxine, man, you see it's a multitude of people to go get this thing. That's like following a multitude to do evil.
And who are they using? You know,
Jay usually got Morgan Freeman now.
All the people in the highlights. What's her? Mariah Carey.
Her.
Throwing the 666 and all kinds of crazy stuff like that. And our signs just got wings and started taking off. That sign just took off.
The one the sign?
Yeah, it's over there.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead and continue.
Yeah. So these people have, you know, sold themselves out. So why are they showing themselves and trying to promote the jab? Because they have to be behind it, right? They're not really taking shots, but they have to show our people, the rich of our people, the famous of our people, the actors, the artists, the NBA players, right? What was it? Magic Johnson, Arsenio Hall, and Machete, right? They were all taking them, and they said, ooh, you know, Magic Johnson supposedly got HIV, that nigga's still alive, right? He probably never even got HIV, but whatever. And then there's Arsenio Hall, right? Back from the 90s, he's still up in the limelight, making movies, Come to America 2. They got him out there. If being wrong was being right, I would want to be wrong, right? You know, all that kind of stuff. And then you got Northern Kingdom Machete doing it for La Familia, man. You know,
they're not doing it for anybody. They're doing it for the fame, the glory. Because if they want that fame, they gotta keep doing these rituals, man.
Yep.
And those all these three people that I mentioned, they've been in the limelight for a long time. They know what time it is. They know why they're making all this money because they're down with the system.
Yep, they're down with Satan, man.
Right. So that's pretty much what's going on. So it's this. Let me read that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Este es Éxodo capítulo 23, versículo 2. No sigas la mayoría en su maldad. Cuando hagas declaraciones en su caso legal, no te dejes llevar por la mayoría, inclinándote, porque no es justo, ¿sí? Porque no es justo. Porque si toda la gente está haciendo maldad, ¿tú vas a seguir haciendo la maldad? No, deberías de pensarlo. ¿Que me conviene hacer esto? ¿Por qué no lo estoy haciendo? Y las escrituras te debe decir cada paso de tu vida, man. Pero nuestra gente no lee las escrituras, no tiene dirección, quizás no tenga un padre, no tenga madre, entonces están como animales salvajes, man. So, todo esto es un concepto nuevo. ¿Cómo que tengo que respetar a alguien? ¿Cómo que no le puedo bajar la mujer a este tipo? You know, because our people, you know, for the most part, they don't have a father, and if they have a mother, they barely have a mother.
Yep.
So they have no doctrine. They were never given any direction.
No
So when
direction.
they heard things like, you can't steal, you can't commit into adultery, wait a minute, I can't take this nigga's girl, man. That sounds crazy, man.
Yep.
Because she wants it, right? She wants
Exactly.
it, you know? So
They had no guidance. They had no integrity.
no direction, nothing. So this sounds like another language. It sounds like something crazy. Woe to him that calls evil good and good evil.
Exactly.
So that sounds like, nah, why would I do that? This girl's throwing herself at me, man.
Exactly.
They'll tell you, oh, I'm not gay.
But
you know what I mean? Or some crazy shit like
because
that.
the girl would be like, "Are you gay or something?"
Yeah, women will pressure you.
Yep.
You know, because a woman will try to kiss you, and you'll be like, what the hell?
Exactly.
Oh, what are you gay? Oh, the dude's now got to kiss her because even
You
though
gotta
I don't
prove-
even like her,
Yeah, he gotta
you know what I
prove
mean?
that
I'm
he
like,
got-
no, I don't like your smell. You stink. You know what I mean? Because the scriptures tell you,
Yeah, don't stink,
you're
man.
gonna stink. No, you stink, man. You know, I don't know where this mouth has been the last, 24
Yeah,
hours.
You know, it says she gonna open her mouth.
You
like
kiss,
she gonna be a
yeah,
thirsty
and wipe,
traveler.
and yeah, and cool. You kiss her, you just kiss the whole room, basically.
Pretty much,
You know what
man.
I mean? So be like, nah, man. And women are now, they're seeing it that they're not getting that much attention, and they're freaking out
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that power that they had, they don't have it anymore. It's slipping away.
Yeah.
You can see gradually they're really freaking out that these men, these simps, are no longer falling for the same old stuff, right? Or even looking at them. Like you have this woman that was freaking out, right?
Oh, you talking about the just
Yeah.
one chick?
Woo.
Why are you not looking at me? But you see the demon on her, though,
That's
man.
the demon. And she had all the surgeries and whatever. And she said, I just saw 3 dudes in a Toyota Prius or whatever, and none of them looked at me. She was freaking out.
She was pissed.
Because
But-
guess what? She might be a transformer.
But then also what the brother had said in the video, she was just mad because she couldn't turn nobody down. Because, they'll sit there and put on all this shit or whatever just to go to the store, grocery store or whatever.
That's right.
And then as soon as the dude try to holler at him, oh, no, I'm not. And then 5 minutes later, give him the phone. Girl, tell me why I said this dude trying to.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I shut him down. And
Yeah.
shit's fucking wicked, man.
But,
That's why this place got to go.
Yeah.
But this is Exodus chapter, this is Exodus chapter 28, verse 29. And Aaron shall bear the names of the children of Israel in the breastplate of judgment upon his heart when he goeth unto the holy place for a memorial before Yahweh continually. And thou shalt put in the breastplate of judgment the Urim and the Thummim, and they shall be upon Aaron's heart. And when he goeth in before Yahweh, and Aaron shall bear the judgment of the children of Israel upon his heart before Yahweh continually. And this is going into the breastplate with the 12 stones.
Which
the
is the
ephod.
wisdom of Solomon tells you that's the whole world.
Exactly.
That Aaron carried the whole world in that plate.
That's
Same
deep,
thing
man.
that John 3:16, they're telling you the world, but you got to go to what, Isaiah 45?
And
They're
let's
telling
talk
you
about Israel,
Israel
man.
is our
because
world. Because
people
it tells you that Aaron carried the whole world.
And
Those
that-
12 souls represent the whole world.
Exactly. That's the only world Yahweh Shem Yahushua
Cares about,
man.
See
And
what I
that's
mean?
what and that's what I was telling that northern tribe dude. 'Cause he was, he asked me, he was like, so, I told him, I was like, I told him the name, I was like, Yahweh Yahushua, and I was like, they only care about Israel. I was like, because, he was like, why is that? And I was like, because we're the only ones that received the law, statutes, and commandments.
Made a covenant.
We
made a pact.
Exactly. We're the only ones that he's known out of all the families of the earth. He didn't know everybody else. He knows them, but he doesn't deal with them. He know, because of course he gonna know. He's the one that created us.
That's right. Created them to serve us.
Exactly.
That's the order.
But the reason why they're not serving us now is because we're still working out our penalty for not
our
judgment. Exactly.
Can't even, our people think like, look, man, if I only won the lottery, man, I got no problem. I would have no problem. This is not an economical problem.
Exactly.
Because what happened in Black Wall Street?
Yes.
They had money, they had businesses, and what happened? The so-called devil came up and bombarded the whole place and destroyed it, man.
There's no way we're going to get up out of this. The only way we're going to get out of this is by returning to Yahweh Shem Yahweh, repenting, following the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability, and be patient until Yahweh Shah and the angels come show up, man. That's all we have to do.
And you're seeing the signs every day.
Exactly.
These Edomites freaking out, man.
You see, I did a video on the chariots yesterday. They was going to, pretty much saying that, they're trying to, of course, like they always say, it was a blimp or weather.
Sure.
But come on, man. Like if you would have looked at those images they had on there, man, you can tell those are chariots. Yeah. And then like I went to yesterday, it wasn't until this modern time, pretty much American time, American captivity, where they try to rule it out as a fairy tale or a fable, because it's all throughout history.
Yeah, you got paintings.
Yeah, I brought those out. I had like a little miniature slideshow at the end of the lesson, going into it's in the Egyptian hieroglyphs. They got paintings in it in Japan.
Yep.
The Renaissance period. They have all it was common knowledge back then.
Yep.
That UFOs existed. Of course they never encountered the beings.
over big battles like Alexander.
Yeah.
They called them flying shields. They were recording all these events. Like, you got to let Alexander win because this prophecy's a rough go. You see what I mean? So they were there making sure that he would have won.
Exactly.
That's why when he went to that temple, the high priest told him, "Here, I'm going to show you the prophecy of you," and he read it because he read Hebrew. See what I mean? He knew what time it was.
Yep.
So if he was in the graces of the Most High, then nothing can stop him. And that's the validity he needed to go push forward his kingdom, which is the kingdom of the Greeks.
Yep. Go ahead. 28, 29, 30.
Gotcha. Este es Éxodos capítulo 28, versículo 29. Así cuando Aarón entró en el santuario, llevando puesto el pectoral por los instrumentos del juicio, llevaba también sobre su pecho los nombres de los hijos de Israel antes de la presencia de Yahweh, para que él los recuerde siempre con el pectoral del Urim y Turim. So, el Urim y Turim eran dos piedras, ¿sí? Dos piedras que cargaban un bolsario sobre su corazón. Y luego tenía la placa del éfod que tenía las 12 piedras. En el libro de Sabiduría te dice que Aarón tenía todo el mundo en eso. Y todo el mundo es el mundo de Israel. Man. You see, a lot of people can't get beyond that Aaron carried the whole world in that plate. That's that's not part of the Bible. That's the apocryphal.
The apocrypha is part of the Bible. They just took it out. To pretty much forward their agenda even more, because they didn't want because it's a lot of truth and a lot of deep stuff in the apocrypha that they wanted to leave out.
Oh yeah. And a lot of that is in Second Esdras. So that's why they had to remove First and Second Esdras, yeah. Por eso tuvieron que quitar esos libros apócrifos, o lo que le llaman libros deuterocanónicos, como Tercer Esdras y Cuatro Esdras. Como esta es clasificada como una Biblia católica y tiene los libros deuterocanónicos, pero falta Tercer Esdras y Cuatro Esdras. Por eso tengo que ir a esta Biblia, ¿sí? Que es la de Cazador de Reina 1569. Esta tiene los 80 libros completos, y este le faltan los libros. ¿Que no sabían que ponían esos libros? Claro que sí, pero no querían dar tanta información a nuestro pueblo, ¿no? Sí, porque nosotros siempre somos llamados por la palabra. Fíjate dónde están todas las iglesias, en todos los barrios, ¿no? Cada cuadra hay iglesias, ¿no? Porque nuestra gente siempre anda buscando la verdad. And it's funny why they removed these books, right? Because it's not like they didn't know. They removed them on purpose
because like you said, there's so much truth. Because our people are always looking for the truth. Go to the hood, man. You're gonna see all the churches.
Yep.
Why? Because that's where all the Israelites are.
Yep.
You can't make that up. It's not in Chinatown. It's not in Koreatown. All them churches are in the hood, where what? The Jews will reside.
Exactly.
The ghetto. In the ghetto.
Exactly.
Didn't Elvis Presley sing about the ghetto?
Both northern and southern.
That's
kingdoms
right, man.
in the ghettos, man.
So that's where all the churches are at. It's not where the money's at. That's where all the hope is at.
Yep.
See? Because they know that we're always looking. This word is always, it's in part of our DNA. It's in our pineal gland.
Yep.
So when we start getting there, that we get that euphoria, you know, of calling and exalting the name of Yahweh. You know, and the ancient natives, they were doing this around the fires, man.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when people were seeing this, they're like, oh no, we gotta get rid of these niggas, man. We gotta,
Yep.
There can't be no evidence of nothing surpassing it.
All right, I'm about to put this up.
Yeah.
So this is Numbers chapter 27, and verse 21. And he shall stand before Eleazar, the priest, who shall ask counsel for him after the judgment of Urim before Yahweh. At his word shall they go out, and at his word they shall come in, both he and all the children of Israel with him, even all the congregation. So pretty much, you know, whatever Yahweh says goes, man. That's pretty much what they were saying. You know, when you know, they moved at his word to go out, they moved at his word to come in. You know, Yahweh's word stands, man. That's why they'll always, you know, go to the priest or go to the prophets, because it was common knowledge back then that, you know, those were the mouthpiece of Yahweh Shem Shai. You know, not like modern times when people think that, you know, God, the Most High is gonna come off His throne and come down here and tell people to themselves. No, man, He don't operate like that. The mouthpiece of Yahweh Shem Shai back then and now and always will be the prophets, man.
What verse you got?
Numbers 27 and 21, and it was going into Eleazar the priest.
Ooh,
You know, that's why, you know, Hosea 4 and 6, man, our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because they don't know anything. They don't read. That's why the scripture said, blessed is he that readeth. And when you go into a deeper meaning of that, read it means, you know, to understand. Blessed is he who understands what he's reading, man. And a lot of our people, they'll read, I read the Bible. You know, a lot of our people, they 2 times, 3, 5 times. Exactly. But do you have the understanding of what you're reading? And a lot of times they don't, man.
this is written in code, man.
Exactly.
And nobody's got the code, but the Israelites got the code.
Exactly.
I know Jehovah's Witnesses, I know Catholics, I know Christians, because they don't got the name, and they're under a 501(c) charter, which is plantation-style Christianity.
And they'll only teach you what Esau allows them to teach.
Allows them, because they're an agent of the state.
Exactly.
That church, or so-called building, that congregation, is a branch of the government, and they're not allowed to give you the whole truth. Look up 501(c) charter. You know, we're not making this up. Let me read this. Este es Números capítulo 27, versículo 19. Luego preséntalo ante los sacerdotes Eleazar y antes de todo el pueblo, y dale el cargo delante de todos ellos, con sobre el parte de tu autoridad, para que todo el pueblo de Israel obedezca. So, eso es lo que pasaba cuando tenías que ser juzgado, tenías que ir al sacerdote y ellos asemblaban que era tu juicio y se lo daban enfrente de toda la congregación o las iglesias o eclesiastes, que es una congregación de israelitas. Because we had to, when we did something, we broke a law, we had to go against the priest or council, right? And then within 1 or 2 witnesses, then you would be judged and you would get that penalty of that law.
Exactly.
That's why we have laws, statutes, and commandments, right? It breaks it down very, there's no gray area. It'll one overlaps the X, and the next law will go into more detail and more detail. If this isn't like this, then it's like this. Then it's something like this, it's like this.
Exactly.
So it gives it to where it's like you can't get out of it.
And that's what I was going to when you was walking up, when you had to go get the signs. I was saying that, you know, You know, they always have to go to, you know, to the prophets or the priests, because that was the mouthpiece of Yahweh Shemel Shah. It's not like Yahweh was going to get off his throne and come down here and talk to you individually. It don't work like that, man.
Right.
But like, that's why I said, our people don't have any understanding, man. That
None.
they gone,
Because they
man.
grew up in the society. They don't give them any understanding. Their whole education is enough just to do their job. That's it.
Yep. Exactly. Going back into, you know, only using 3% of our brains, man.
Sometimes less, man.
Yeah, on the cool. On the cool. So this is Numbers chapter 35 and verse 12. And they shall be unto you cities for refuge from the avengers, that the manslayer die not until he stand before the congregation in the judgment. Go back to what the brother just said, man. When we whenever we broke a law in the ancient world, you know, nothing will happen to us until we went before the priest and the 2 or 3 witnesses,
Right,
and we get that judgment.
They just can't stone somebody just because they have to go through a trial.
Exactly.
That's where the whole judicial system comes from. That's why you have to have what? 12 jurors. That represents the 12 tribes.
Yep.
Right? And then you would have the advocate, which is Yahweh Shai, and then you would have the judge, which is Yahweh.
Yep.
And you can't talk to the judge.
Nope.
That's the same thing. We can't go talk to Yahweh. That's why we have our advocate, Yahweh Shai.
Mediator,
Our mediator. We have to talk to him, and then that's what we will pray, give it to the Son, and he offers it to the Father, because he's not hearing you.
Yep. Yahweh,
There's an order. It tells you there's an order, man.
Yep. Yep. He still has his back turned to us too, man.
Right. So este es Números capítulo 35, versículo 12. Allí quedará a salvo del pariente del muerto que quiera vengarlo y no morirá hasta que se haya presentado antes del pueblo para ser juzgado. So, nomás porque alguien en tu familia fue matado por alguien, tú no lo puedes matar. Tiene que haber un tribunal, un juicio y testigos. Tú no puedes agarrar con tu mano y sacarse ese mano, ojo por ojo, diente por diente. Sí, esa es la ley, pero no lo vas a hacer tú. Tiene que hacer unos actos representando esos de toda la congregación de Israel, ¿sí? Y ahorita no tenemos eso. El sistema judicial viene de los sistemas judíos, ¿sí? Que teníamos que tener el sistema judicial, hay un juez que es el más altísimo, ¿sí? Y luego tienes el defendiente, que eres tú, y luego el representante, el abogado, es Yahweh Shai. Y luego tienen, ¿qué? 12 personas que representan las 12 tribus de Israel, ¿no? So, todo eso es acuerdo a las escrituras, pero mucha gente no lo puede ver, porque ellos te dicen, pon la mano en la Biblia y sí que es la verdad, pero ellos están a lo contrario, ¿no? No creen en eso. Ellos creen en Saturno, en Satanás y todas esas cosas, because basically they'll tell you that we believe in God, but the God they believe in is Satan.
Exactly.
Because they're going into like adoring Saturn and all that stuff, the robe and all that. That goes into that wickedness.
And that also goes into when Isaiah and Yahushua prophesied, going into how they honor them with their lips, but their hearts are far from. So this is same chapter, Numbers 35. We're going to jump down to verse 29. So these things shall be for a statute of judgment unto you throughout your generations and all your dwellings. And you know, this is things that we should be doing, and you know, throughout time. But because
you're generating, right?
Exactly. But because you know we didn't keep that first covenant with Yahweh Shem Yahushua, we in captivity right now. And this captivity, we can't follow our law, statutes, commandments. Man.
Not perfectly.
Exactly. Not perfectly, yeah. Kind of like the brother said, we can do it to the best of our ability, because you know, it's 613 laws. We can't keep all of them to a T. You know, that's only when we're a sovereign nation we can keep them all to a T.
Right.
And you know, in the kingdom of heaven, they're going to be programmed or hardwired into us, so we won't
be going off anymore.
That's right.
We're gonna get that upgrades of
exactly.
avatars.
And that's what I'm looking forward to, man. Because like I'm tired of because you feel like shit when you go off, man. You know, it's time. You know, we still in the flesh, man. The flesh, subject to sin. And it hurts sometimes, man. Like you don't have to work on a Sabbath day or whatever, right. Or like you slip up and do something that you knew you weren't supposed to be doing or whatever, or you found out like something that you ate, or even to a fucking bar of soap, bro.
Yeah,
bar of soap that you've been using to have pork in it, like that shit will piss you off, bro. You be feeling like shit.
And you think you're washing your hands, but you're putting yourself in filthiness, man.
Exactly. But that's
So-
why we're under grace and mercy right now, man.
But
because-
that's why it tells you, blessed are he who reads. You gotta read the ingredients.
Exactly.
Real, the fine print. Because
Exactly.
Esau is, man,
He's a
the devil,
motherfucker, man. He's a devil.
He knows the loopholes and he's doing everything. You know, he's throwing the kitchen sink at us, even though we're trying to do righteous. Oh, I'm just gonna eat beef sausages, not knowing that the beef sausage got
the
4
casings.
casings, or
Yep.
you don't even know if that's real. 100% can you say, well, this is actual beef? You
The
cannot.
only way you'll know is
If
if
you
go
get
out.
steak and you grind it up and you make your own sausages, then I believe you. That's why I don't eat none of the sausages and hamburger, because I know those Amalekites, they own those meat packages. And they can throw whatever they want and they can tell you, you're eating this. They love selling sausages and shit like
Yep.
that, because that gets rid of all them bodies, man.
Yep. You ain't lying there, man. Like that rabbi said, man. Like, that's why I hate it here, bro. Like, that's why Yahweh, we need Yahweh Shai. We need Yahweh Shai. All right, so you read it, right?
Yeah, I read
Okay.
29.
All right, so this is Second Ezra chapter 7.
Oh, wait, no. I read this. Okay, let me read that. It's 35 and 29, you said?
Yeah. Go ahead and read
Este
that.
es,
And after that,
all right, cool. Esos números, capítulo 35, versículo 29. Estas exposiciones serán para ustedes una ley que pasará de padre a hijo donde quisiera que ustedes vivan. So, esto tenía que dar de padre a hijo por generaciones hasta que estemos generando. Pero ¿qué pasó? Quebramos la ley, abandonamos la ley y no fue pasado de padre a hijo. Empezamos a idolatrar y es cuando ¿qué? El Señor nos pasó juicio y mandó los asirianos contra las 10 tribus de Israel. Y desde ese punto fuimos esclavitud, los latinos y los indígenas. Y luego de ese tiempo, que fueron como más de 100 años, fuimos a este lado del mundo, las Américas. So, ahí está.
All right. So this is Second Ezra chapter 7, verse 33. And the Most High, Yahweh, shall appear upon the judge. And the Most High shall appear upon the seat of judgment, and misery shall pass away, and the long suffering shall have an end. That goes to show you, man, who's sitting in the seat of judgment. And that's Yahweh Vashim Yahweh Shai. Yahweh is the judge. Yahweh Shai is, he was like the attorney, right? Yeah, he's the attorney. He's the mediator. Right? And you can't talk directly to the judge, man. You gotta talk. You gotta talk to your lawyer or the mediator, and he'll, plead your cause to the judge, man. It's an order.
Right. You just can't talk straight to the judge.
Exactly.
There's an order.
So that's a cut on you people, you Old Testament only Israelites, the ones that don't believe in the Messiah, man.
That's considered the Old Testament.
Exactly. And then on top of that, the Yahweh Shai's talked about all throughout the Old Testament. It's just y'all don't have to understand.
Hey, it tells you in the second Ezra that in 400 years his son will come. That's Old Testament.
Exactly.
That's why a lot of people go, oh, I don't believe in them. Now they're taking books out of there, even though they know they're. These are the Dead Sea Scrolls, niggas. So now what are you gonna say?
Jake love that deep demon, man.
Right.
Go ahead,
Super deep.
Just keep it simple, man.
4 Esdras capítulo 6 versículo 33. El Altísimo entonces aparecerá sentado en la silla de juicio y las miserias pasarán y serán puertos a fin de la paciencia. So, el que va a dar el juicio es el Altísimo, el Padre Todopoderoso, y a su mano derecha está su Hijo, man. ¿Cómo están las profecías que te dicen, man? Y muchos no creen en el Nuevo Testamento. So, ese es parte de su juicio, man. That's a judgment. That they don't even believe in Yahweh Shai.
Yeah,
That's a judgment. That's a bug out judgment, man.
Yep. Calm. That is true, man.
Because under the law, adulterous woman had to be put to death. So that would mean the whole nation of Israel had to be slaughtered, killed off, done with. There is no coming back from that.
Nope.
Under Old Testament, which they're saying they are. So how is it that you can repent and how? There is no end all be all, man.
That's why we need
Yahweh Shai. That's right. And we need that grace.
Exactly. All right, so this is Second Ezra, chapter 8, verse 61. And therefore is now, and therefore is my judgment now at hand. And we can clearly see that, man, with everything that's going throughout the earth, man. Yahweh's judgment is at hand, man. There's no turning back, man. we at the point of no return.
Yeah.
We at the point of no return, man. Like it's just really just going down here from here, man. We done reached the tip, the climax, and now it's like we going down until we reach the next climax is when, you know, Yahweh Shai and the angels come in the midst of World War III to come deliver us and destroy this place, man.
Right. Because by that point, everybody's gonna know who Esau is.
Yeah.
It's gonna be straightforward. Everybody's gonna know who the Israelites are. People are gonna be looking at you differently.
Yep.
Can I open this door, sir? Like,
Yep.
you know what I mean? They're trying to get the
brownie
bonus
points,
bread,
the brownie points, man.
bread
They're
before the
trying to
Yahweh
get
Shai
that-
gets in.
Exactly, but shit, by that time it's gonna be too late, man.
No, it ain't enough, bro. Their
Exactly.
judgment is set.
Exactly.
They can't get away from their judgment.
Exactly. There's no escaping. There's no running, man. Like
We couldn't get away from our
Hell
judgment.
no.
We broke the law, statutes, and commandments, and He threw us down, man. He loves us.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine.
So
he
how
don't
much
love-
more for y'all?
He
y'all
doesn't
love?
love anybody but the nation of Israel. What do you think He's gonna do to you
he gonna fuck
and
y'all
your
up.
judgment, man?
He gonna fuck y'all up. Go ahead, Doc.
What verse is that?
41. No, 61. Sloppy.
But it's 8:61.
Come on.
All right, got it. Este es 4 veces, capítulo 8, versículo 61. Por lo cual se acercan a la hora de los juicios. Porque la hora y el tiempo del Mesías que venga está acercando cada día, man, y cada minuto. Porque esto era profecía que iba a estar así el tiempo de los gentiles. ¿Hasta qué? Los gentiles están votados. Porque ¿quién destruyó Jerusalén? Los gentiles. Exactamente es con el imperio romano. Que todavía no estamos en el imperio romano. Si no lo crees. Es la cuarta bestia. Y que esto se va a acabar cuando su reino caiga. Because a lot of people can't understand that Jerusalem was sacked by the Gentiles. And how long does this continue? To the time of the Gentiles to be fulfilled.
Exactly.
And we're still in the fourth beast.
Exactly.
So this is still their kingdom, but this is their fourth quarter, and they're going in the last minutes of the fourth quarter, you know, and they know it.
And the Gentiles that the brother's talking about is talking about the heathens. Because
Non-Israelites.
Yeah, because it's two type of Gentiles. You have the non-Israelites, which are the heathen, and you have the Gentiles that are Israelites that follow the heathen customs that have been Hellenized.
Like the Corinthians,
Yeah.
the Ephesians, all those epistles that Paul wrote, those are Gentiles, but are Israelites.
Con.
And they didn't know that. Some of them didn't know that.
That was like how we are
Hellenistic,
today.
yeah.
That was like how we are today.
Americanized. That's exactly who we were. So all those epistles are written only to Israelites.
Yeah.
They're not written to no heathens. What's to contrary belief? Because God doesn't love no
And
heathens.
then they'll be
The
quick to
scriptures
say-
tell you that. There's no scripture tells you that.
He loves the whole. He loves Moab. He loves Ammon. He
This
don't
is the
love
end all be all. Where is the prophecy in the Old Testament that God is going to come and bring the heathens, non-Israelites, and join it to Israelites? I want to see that prophecy.
Exactly.
There is no prophecy in that. See?
Exactly.
Because you are our property.
Yep.
The Goyam, our cattle.
Yep.
See?
But you know they'll be quick to say that we racist or whatever. But shit,
Yeah, because
Yahweh's racist. Man.
the God, the power of Israel, he's racist.
Where you
He
think we
doesn't
got
give
it
a damn
from?
about anybody but the nation of Israel.
Exactly.
So
because
if there would be no Israel, there would be no world. There would be nothing.
Yep.
Okay, because a lot of people rule that. Well, the church now replaced the Israel. That's the most anti-Semitic thing I've ever heard, man.
Yep. Exactly.
That's craziness. That's an abomination.
An
Man.
abomination. That's blasphemy.
That's blasphemous. That's exactly right.
That's blasphemy.
Because his people have continued. And they are no longer known as Israelites. They're known as what? Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans.
We go, but that's part of the curse. We're gonna be called
That's
these
right.
bywords, man.
Bywords, exactly. This is all prophecy we're saying. And if you don't read the scriptures or have understanding of the
You're
scriptures,
not gonna receive it, man.
forget about it.
Exactly. So
We
this
might
is,
as well be speaking Greek to you.
you're speaking Greek, Chinese, Japanese,
I don't get it.
Cantonese.
That's right. That's right. What do you got next time?
This is 2nd Ezra chapter 11, verse 46. That all the earth may be refreshed and may return, being delivered from thy violence. And this is a future prophecy talking about after Esau gets thrown out of rulership, man. The earth is going to be renewed. That's why he's coming to burn this place, man.
When America is destroyed by nuclear
thermonuclear
power,
the
right.
ICBM.
Hey, just like Terminator. Did I see from Terminator? Where did they get it from? The scriptures, Zechariah.
Exactly. And like,
See what I mean? Once you know that they know
that we know, that's a wrap.
Exactly.
Because we can see these movies that were done years and years ago, decades and decades ago, and go, oh, wait,
Look at
hold
that,
on.
look at
That's
You know,
this
hey,
verse. Yo, that's this verse.
That's us every night after camp.
Bro,
that's us
every
every night
time.
after camp. We were sitting there watching movies, bro.
Yeah.
Did you just
Yeah. Because it's hidden. And if you don't know the scriptures, you don't know what's going on.
Exactly.
And they have to tell you, according to their magic, according to their rituals, they have to tell you before they do it. That's how their magic works.
Yep.
So if you know the scriptures, you know exactly the play-by-play that's going on. We got the play-by-play, man.
We have the cheat code.
That's right, man.
But,
So,
let
me read that.
No, I didn't finish. I'm starting again. That all the earth may be refreshed and may return, being delivered from thy violence, because Esau is the violent one, and that she may hope for the judgment and mercy of him that made her. That her is talking about wisdom again. But if you want to look on the deeper level, it's also talking about the nation of Israel, because we was likened unto a delicate
comely
woman.
That's right.
And you know, we're hoping for that mercy by Yahweh Shai, because he's the one that made us.
And that's, look, and there's no reason we should have that mercy.
Exactly. Because
There's nothing special about it.
Because they said our righteousness is as filthy rags.
Because the only reason is he's going to have compassion is for Abraham's sake. That's it. Because we are the descendants of Abraham. Because he did everything that was told to him. None of us did anything.
Exactly.
We were just born into this.
Yep.
The Most High chose the Spirit, said, you will put this spirit in this vessel of the Israelites. And that's it. And I'm going to put this wicked spirit in these Edomites. And that's it. And there's nothing you can say about it.
Yep.
Because we didn't do anything to deserve this, right?
Yep. That is true.
So,
That is true.
so every day that you know this truth and you're pushing for this truth, then it's a big blessing. It's a treasure.
It is a blessing.
It is a big treasure that a lot of people can't understand or appreciate. Because a lot of people might see that as a curse too.
Yep. It's going to be a blessing and a curse.
That's
man.
right. But that's part of the prophecies. Once you live the prophecies, the blessings, and the curses, then will you return, right? Este es 4 Esdras, capítulo 10, capítulo 46. Porque toda la tierra haya refrescado y libre de tu tiranía, se recoja y ponga sus esperanzas en la justicia y clemencia de aquel que las creó. Porque toda la tierra va a ser juvenada, porque ahorita está destruida, man. Todo el planeta Tierra y los animales están contaminados, el aire, el agua. ¿Por qué? Porque Jesús está reinando, man. This whole world needs to be refreshed because it's defiled, man.
Yep.
Everything's polluted.
Yep.
And it's because Esau is the captain, man.
Yep.
And he's calling all the shots. He has defiled this whole world.
Because he don't know how to rule shit, man.
Of course not. He's the basis of man.
The bottom of the bottom.
Now what do they say? Oh, that project, you're in the projects. Well, this project is about to come to an end.
Yep.
This project of Esau running the world is about to get pulled, man.
Yep.
That's it. The
Blood
cord
is
is
about
pulled,
to be
man.
pulled, man.
That's it. Party's over. What does Mama say, man? Pull the cord. You got to get out of here, man. This party's over.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
Party's about to be over with. And you can see the woes that are coming because of the judgment that's going out to the house of Israel.
Yep. Because we're the backbone of this country, man, believe it or not. But this is Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 4. He is the rock. His way, Salakia, he is the rock. His work is perfect. For all his ways are judgment. A God of truth and without iniquity. Just and right is he. And that's right, man. All Yahweh's ways is perfect, man. And the rock, the rock is, that's the foundation, man. And all his ways are judgment. I mean, the scripture is pretty much plain, man. Everything he does is done for righteousness' sake. Whether, it may seem evil in our eyes.
Right. His ways are not your ways, and his thoughts are not your thoughts.
Come.
Who are you trying to compare the creator of heaven and earth and say, well,
you can't keep
he's
him
bad, he's good. You can't put him in there.
Exactly.
He's the ancient of days. He was older before there was any days. He's outside of time.
He's the
See,
one.
when you're trying to give him a sense, right, of a human body or everything, he's all powerful, all knowing, omnipotent, everything.
Yep.
So you're 3% of your brain trying to process that, man. Forget about it. You're gonna short circuit yourself out, man.
Yep. That's why you just need to, just conform to what he says, man.
And that's all you can do, because what we are is puppets in this whole game.
Exactly.
And like I said, we all got to play our part. That's
Exactly. Just play your part, man. What The Rock used to say, know your role and shut your mouth, man.
Stay in your lane, bro.
Exactly. Because you're going to ultimately destroy yourself trying to, you know, be too deep.
Super deep. Yeah.
The scripture even said that, says, be not unrighteous.
You know, they're going all these different books. Book of Enoch and Book of Jubilees, Jasher, okay. And they throw those out. They bug out our people, man, because they know they got that bug out spirit out there. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to give them a pocket full with this and this and that. Forget about it.
Yeah, because I read the Book of Enoch and the Book of Jasher.
I've read the Book of Enoch, but it didn't really capture me like some people like.
I mean,
angels, they got your science and you know all this. I read it, bro. You know.
I mean, Jasher, you know, Jasher was like a comic book to me or whatever, but then like it was stuff in there that.
But because they gotta mix the truth with the lie.
Right, exactly, because like.
And that would bug our people.
How is what was that dude? What was his name? Nebuchadnezzar alive when Esau was alive?
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
All kinds of stuff that contradicts.
No, it wasn't. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah.
It was some.
Yeah, it was not in the same time.
Yeah. There was just two different times or whatever. That just goes to show you that it was off.
Yeah.
Esau was here trying to, you know, blind our people.
Right. Este es Deuteronomio capítulo 32, versículo 4. Él es nuestro protector. Sus obras son perfectas. Sus acciones son justas. Es el Dios de verdad. En Él no hay injusticia. Él es justo y verdadero. Exactamente, porque Yahweh, el creador de todo, es justo y verdadero, man. Él nos juzgó como una gente porque quebramos su pacto, man. Y aquí estamos abajo, en captividad, y otra gente reinando sobre nosotros, man. Pero mucha de esa gente no ve cómo está el sistema contra nosotros. Están felices. Están como el tiempo de Noé. Aquí están celebrando y todo esto, casándose. ¿Y qué? Y ya viene la destrucción. This is the same time as the time of Noah, bro. You know, they were marrying and cheering and happy.
Having a great old time.
Right. And then the flood came, the judgment came. Because we're in that time of judgment again. This is coming full circle once again.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
These are all promises that are being given to the prophets over decades and eons. And people, well, that was a long time ago. They said Jesus was going to come. He ain't going to come. That's what the Catholic Church said. Oh, he ain't going to come. Even the people in Israel, they said, oh, we got a Messiah. They raised up a man right now. They said he's the Mashiach.
And that's going on. But you know, that could be one of the that is one of the antichrists.
That's one of them, right?
Exactly.
There's a whole bunch.
There's a whole bunch of them.
There's a whole bunch of Edomites are antichrist.
Yep. And you know, they would love to say, oh, it's a man in a suit with slick back hair. And, nah, man. Where did it say that in the scripture?
No, exactly. That's a Christian's whole dogma that they created. Just like, what do they call it? The rapture and all kinds of stuff. God loves everybody. Those are fairy tales, man.
Only God, you know, they got that from the Epistle of Tupac. You know.
Oh, he had it on his tattoo in the back, right?
That king that was in the book of Jasher was Nimrod, not Nebuchadnezzar.
Oh,
Just came back to my remembrance. It was, they said Nimrod, that Esau killed Nimrod, and he had some fucking magical garments and all that. And
I remember that. Those garments came from Adam and Eve. Yeah. I read that. Esau hadn't been born yet, because he came up from out of Jacob.
Exactly. Apparently, it's just a bunch of madness in that book. That's why, you know, you can't, you know, you gotta filter everything through the scriptures, man. If it doesn't line up with the scriptures, then you know it's going off.
Yeah.
But this is the same chapter, Deuteronomy chapter 32. We're gonna go to verse 41. If I wet my glittering sword, in my hand take hold on judgment, I will render vengeance to my enemies and will reward them that hate me. And who are Yahweh's enemies? The heathen nations, man. Which are also our enemies, according to Psalms 83rd chapter.
But who's the number one culprit, man?
Esau, Edom, man. He's the ringleader, man.
Yeah, they're all our enemies, but there's the ringleader,
He's the ringleader, and it's Esau, Edom, man. And you know, he's finna render vengeance, man, because you know.
It's promised to us in the gospel, man. Vengeance is promised to us. So, you know,
that's why Yahweh says for us not to go get vengeance. That's right. Vengeance is his.
Because the vengeance that he's gonna get, yo, you can't even imagine with our third dimension bodies. These are beings from the fourth dimension. They got all kinds of ideas of how they're gonna do it, how they're gonna bring the fire, how they're gonna bring it down, bro. 3%, that's all you're using, and you think you're gonna come up with something better than the Heavenly Father, the Creator of it all? No, bro. No way. This is only can be, you know, it's like the best movie ever made, man. And we're about to get into the action scene, man.
Ooh, boy, there's gonna be some action, man. Gonna be some action and a lot of death, blood, guts, sweat and tears, man. Go ahead and bring it all out.
Esto es Deuteronomio, capítulo 32, versículo 41, que cuando afile mi brillante espada y comience a impartir justicia, me vengaré de mis enemigos, daré su merecido a los que me odian, emparé en sangre mis flechas, en mi espada acabaré con ellos, sangre de heridos y de prisioneros, de los jefes enemigos de las largas melenas. Alégrense naciones con el pueblo de Dios. Él vengará la muerte de sus siervos, tomará venganza de sus enemigos y perdonará a su país y a su pueblo. Eso es lo que viene, en esa gran tribulación que siempre es mencionada en ese día. ¿En ese día qué día es? El día del Señor, man. Eso viene, esa tribulación y esa justicia, esa venganza prometida al pueblo de Israel tiene que venir. Because that vengeance is promised to us, man.
Yep.
You know, this whole land is defiled with our blood.
Yep.
So how do you clean it? The blood of him that spilled it, man. That's vengeance coming full circle.
Yep.
That is in the law.
That's that judgment, like it says, like a rain. That judgment.
So that hasn't been fulfilled yet. So he's about to make it rain with these Edomites' blood, man.
Oh yeah, he's gonna make it rain, all right.
For real, man.
He's gonna bring these missiles and shut this shit down.
Proud ashes, man.
And them all that concentrated fire from the chairs, them laser beams, man. For real. I'm just praying that Lord willing we part of that number, man.
And then we can see it from the chariots, man.
Time.
We don't know.
Hey, boy.
We don't know
Or be one of the ones that have spiritual powers, do you know?
Even that, imagine that.
Hey, because I would love. Yeah, you know, man. That's why you love when you know. All them damn animes and video game, man.
It's in their spirit, man. It's in our spirit that we know that vibration, that we're possible.
Man,
you know,
look.
'cause a lot of brothers, you know, in their dreams, they do these things.
Yeah,
I remember as a
I used
kid,
to have dreams like that.
I'd be flying around and doing all kinds of stuff, and you know, I never had a lot of dreams later on in life, but those dreams would continue for years and years, and then all of a sudden, I didn't have no dreams. But I still remember those dreams. I'm like, man, what if that was real?
See, funny thing, I remember praying to, you know, it was God back then. But I remember praying, you know, asking for superpowers, man. Like when I was little, I was like, I
December 21st? Come on, man.
Well, I'll be up.
Yeah, right? Let me jump off the roof.
Boy, I used to pray for some superpowers, man. But hey, it's not time yet. Right? Not time yet. Dang, the mother done left the kids or something. Who knows? Hey, man, that's what to show you, man. That's why the scripture says that he was like an ostrich to their children, man. Like, come on, man. Like, well, we were saying this, like, we went to the Northern Trial restaurant yesterday to order out. And you seen this Eve in there, she had this little bullshit ass weave on. Like we brought up last week, you know, they be all done up, but you know, their kids' hair was like, it was just all over the place. And I know they heard me and my wife talking about, I ain't getting there, we was drinking anyway, had some tequilas, you know, by that time, I ain't really give a damn. I'm like, shit, what you gonna do? Cause you know I'm telling the truth.
Yeah.
You know you dead wrong, man. You could have did something to your child's hair, man. But, back to the scriptures. This is 2 Samuel chapter 8, verse 15. And David reigned over all Israel, and David executed judgment and justice unto all his people. And you know, Yahweh Shemel Shah, he loved King David, man. And David, you know, he was an upright man.
He's gonna be king to us again.
Exactly. And you know, but point being, he executed that judgment, man. He gave out that righteous judgment, man.
Salakia, King David wasn't perfect.
Exactly.
He fell many times.
Exactly.
Look, read the whole book of Psalms, man. always pleading that that spirit would flee from him. And he committed adultery, committed all this, but the Most High could have put him to death, but he didn't.
Yep, he committed sins that was worthy of death.
Worthy of death.
And Yahweh
Compassion
had
on him,
compassion
man.
and mercy on him, man.
He judged him in other ways. He killed his
Exactly.
children, you know?
Yeah.
That's a huge wound, man.
Yeah.
For a father to lose his children,
Yep.
you know?
But see, David didn't get mad at Yahweh Shah.
No.
He understood why that happened. But people nowadays they'll go out and do something wicked, and let's say the same thing happened to them, they'll lose their child or whatever.
I don't
They'll-
believe in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I've been praying to him and he don't help me out. The hell with you. Yeah.
Exactly,
that's
but
how people-
but what are you doing? Are you pushing out the
Because they don't
vibration of
understand.
wickedness?
They
Are
don't
you pushing
understand
out-
the scriptures, man.
Exactly, because they was nailed to the cross. So I don't gotta. Okay, well you feel that way, I feel this way, and we gonna see who he's gonna answer first. Like Elijah when he was with the prophets of Baal. He was like, okay,
Got
y'all.
off, yeah.
He was like,
You
y'all
bring
go-
your God, I'll bring my God.
Exactly, and what happened in the end?
Shit.
He made that fire rain out.
When
didn't it?
douse all that water on, I'm gonna show you the God of Israel, man.
Exactly. Go ahead, bring it out.
Este segundo Samuel, capítulo 8, versículo 15. David reinó sobre todo Israel, actuando con justicia y rectitud para con todo su pueblo. Porque el rey David siguió las palabras y el juicio del Señor y Saúl no lo hizo, no lo obedeció del Señor. Entonces, ¿a Saúl qué? Lo abandonó el Señor y subió otro hombre, a David, que viene de la tribu de Judá. Y por eso él siguió las leyes, aunque fue como un hombre y pecó, siempre estaba pidiéndole al Señor por misericordia, man. Y ese hombre va a regresar y va a ser rey sobre todo Israel. Que si lo puedes aceptar, fue Pedro. Por eso fueron dadas las llaves del reino. And if you could receive it, that was Peter. That's what Peter was given, the keys to the kingdom of heaven.
Yep.
What did Peter do? He's just a fisherman to receive the keys to the kingdom. It's not
King-
what he did then,
was
it's what he
King
did
David,
before.
King David reincarnated.
That's
man.
right, the regeneration.
Exactly.
If you could receive that, right?
Exactly.
Because then you'd have to answer, why did he receive it rather than Paul or Simon? And what did he do, right?
Exactly.
So then you would have to go and show me in the scriptures, what did he do to receive the kingdom, the keys to the kingdom of heaven? But I can tell you in the scriptures what he did as King David.
Yep. But that's one of the things that
Oh yeah,
Right over our
sure.
people, man.
But we got to mention it
We gotta-
because the spirit is out there, man. He
Yep.
wants us to mention it. Oh,
Yep.
well, I don't know about what. Go to my channel. I got a 3-hour video on regeneration, man. Like it's just precept on precept from the old to the new, and it's 3 hours of regeneration.
Yep.
If you can receive that.
Come.
And a lot of people can say, well, I don't believe in that. Even though it's all coming from the scriptures,
Exactly.
they don't believe in that because their spirit is not reflected to what the
Exactly.
scriptures are.
But, somebody got to play 2/3, man.
That's right.
So this is 1 Kings chapter 3, verse 7. And now, O Yahweh, my power, thou hast made thy servant king instead of David, my father. This is Solomon praying unto Yahweh Shai. And I am but a little child. I know not how to go out or come in. And thy servant is in the midst of thy people, which thou hast chosen, a great people that cannot be numbered, nor counted for multitude. Give therefore thy servant an understanding heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad. It wasn't discernment. One of them similar words for judgment in the definition I read in the beginning. He was asking. He's pretty much asking for wisdom. He's asking for another word they use, common sense.
Yeah.
But in today, common sense isn't
not so common.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge this thy so great a people? And the speech pleased the Lord that Solomon had asked this, and the Most High said unto him, because thou hast asked this thing, and hast not asked for thyself long life, neither hast asked riches for thyself, nor hast asked the life of thy enemies, because that's something that majority of the Jakes would have asked for. They would have gotten the position that Solomon was in, man. But Solomon sat there. No, I just want wisdom to be able to judge thy people. Oh Lord, I want to have discernment between good and evil. So, but thou hast asked for thyself understanding to discern judgment. Behold, I have done according to thy words. Lo, I have given thee a wise and an understanding heart, so that there was none like thee before thee, neither after thee shall any arise like unto thee. And I have also given thee that thou hast not asked, both riches and honor, so that there shall not be any among the kings like unto thee all these days. So just because he just asked for wisdom, he got more.
Because you know how crazy it is that his father was so great that he was in the shadow of David, the ultimate warrior, man. He was slaughtering people like crazy, and he had that fame from the time he slayed Goliath. He was a youth, and he had all these battles. You're in the shadow of that? Who am I going to be? That's what I'm like a little child, man. How can I compare to my father David?
Yep.
You know, he was in that shadow. He said, look, just give me the judgment to that heart to
discern
between good and bad, and to judge Israel.
And
he raised them up and gave him Sophia, and above that he gave him all the riches and everything. Like no other, there has not been a king since King Solomon that's had the wealth, the wisdom, right?
Yep.
And he never had to pick up a sword.
Then,
Why?
you know, for y'all people, y'all can receive that. That was Yahweh Shai. That's why
Right.
he said there's not going to be another, because Yahweh Shai is going to be ruling over us in the kingdom of heaven.
Right.
So it's going to be like the times of Solomon, because Solomon, it was 40 years of peace.
That's right.
And that was pretty much a prelude to how the kingdom of heaven is going to be.
That's right.
It's just a little taste of what y'all going to
of
receive.
righteousness, among wickedness. That's
Exactly.
right. Because we subjugated all those nations.
Yep.
David had the Edomites. They were kicking cool over there with, you know what I mean?
Yep.
They were subjugated
They
under
was
David. He
they
was
was
killing
servants.
10,000 of them, man, for nothing. They were our servants, the Moabites, all of them. They were our servants. That is coming again. That's why he's building what? The third temple. That
Yep.
third temple.
And that temple is men,
That's right.
not physical stones.
What's that song from?
With the lively stones.
What is it? Is it Pink Floyd? Is about those kids and the stones? They teach you to leave those kids alone.
Mm-hmm.
Those stones, those children are a stone in the wall. We are that temple.
That's why it
we're a
says
stone in that temple,
with lively stones.
rebuilding the actual temple. Because it says what? I don't dwell in temples built by hands.
By man's hands.
This is the temple that is built not with hands.
That's why he tells you not to defile your temple.
And what did he says? Like, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is within you.
Exactly.
It's already inside of us.
Exactly.
It exists already inside of us. And we're just bringing it out, right? We're just bringing it out. And with that consciousness that we're aware of this, and every time we're calling upon it and praying, we're that much closer to it.
God.
That's promised to us.
Allah Yahweh Shai Shai.
First
Kings 7 through
Yep, you got it. Es 1 Reyes capítulo 3, versículo 7. Tu Señor, Yahweh y Dios mío, me has puesto para que reine en lugar de David. So, este es el rey Salomón. ¿Sí? Después él reinó, el rey Salomón. Y reiné en lugar de David, mi padre, aunque yo soy un muchacho joven y sin experiencia. Pero estoy al frente del pueblo que tú escogiste, un pueblo tan grande que por su multitud no puede contarse ni calcularse. Dame pues un corazón atento para gobernar a tu pueblo y para distinguir entre lo bueno y lo malo, porque ¿quién hay capaz de gobernar a este pueblo tuyo tan numeroso? So, esto es lo que le está preguntando el rey Salomón al Altísimo, que es Yahweh. Dice, dame sabiduría, dame el corazón para hacer juzgar a Israel, man. Eso es lo que quiero, man. Porque su padre, el rey David, era un guerrillero, man. Imagínate todo lo que hizo David y tú estás en la sombra de tu padre. ¿Quién eres tú, man? Ese era el guerrillero de guerrilleros, man, que mataba a 10,000 personas en batallas, man. El que le quitó la cabeza a Goliat, man. ¿Cómo te vas a comparar a ese hombre? Eso dijo, ¿sabes qué? Dame el corazón para saber juzgar y en rectitud, man. Eso es lo que estaba diciéndole el Altísimo. So, al Señor, versículo 10, al Señor le agrada que Salomón le hicieron tal petición y él le dijo, porque me has pedido esto y no una larga vida, ni riquezas, ni la muerte de tus enemigos, sino inteligencia para saber oír y gobernar. Voy a hacer lo que me has pedido y yo te concedo sabiduría y inteligencia como nadie la ha tenido antes de ti, ni tendrás después de ti. So, imagínate, nosotros usamos 3% de nuestra capacidad del cerebro. ¿Cuánta capacidad tuvo el rey Salomón? No lo sabemos, ¿eh? Además, te doy riquezas y esplendor, cosas que tú no pediste, de modo que en toda tu vida no haya otro ni rey como tú. So, eso es lo que el rey Salomón le pidió, ¿eh? Sabiduría para reinar sobre Israel. Pero el Señor le dio riquezas y todas esas cosas, y no ha visto otro rey como el rey Salomón. Y muchos no saben que el rey Salomón es el Mesías, el Salvador, que vino en ese tiempo, ¿eh? So, eso sí lo puedes recibir, es la regeneración. Go ahead.
All right, so from there, we're going to go to 2nd Esdras, chapter 12, verse 34. For the rest of my people shall he deliver with mercy those that have been pressed upon my borders, and he shall make them joyful until the coming of the day of judgment, whereof I have spoken unto thee from the beginning. This is the dream that thou sawest, and these are the interpretations. So, you know, the people that he's talking about that's been delivered to mercy, that's talking about Israel. And, you know, really talking about the elect, mainly the ones that got the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. We're going to be joyful. Yeah, we're in the house of mourning right now, but we're still joyous because we know what's to come after this judgment is brought upon the earth, man. You know, because the sins of this land, I mean, come on, man, it's reaching up to the heavens, man. Like, now I get that metaphor, man, because if you just look at how the condition of the world is, man, this is how life's supposed to be, man. Like, it's not supposed to be Transformers walking around amongst us.
No, hell no.
It's not supposed to be, you know, women not supposed to be telling their man what to do or being over the man.
Or you ever see a man at the mall and he's carrying the purse?
Yeah.
That shit
or
never.
carrying the,
That shit never. Even when I was a kid, I'm like, who this guy? You know, back then it's like, this guy gay or what? And I always hold his purse to his wife.
It was El Mandalorian.
Why? Yeah. See, you know what's up. That's right. That's right. The Northern Kingdom got a word, man. You know. And they got
a beta male.
Yeah,
man.
that's a beta male,
like,
man.
And, like, it wasn't that many beta males.
Oh,
in
now?
ancient times, hell no, man. Women would have been, they would have known their roles. Men would have knew their roles, and you know. But now, you know, our people, especially the Israelites, man, we're so far so gone because
he created a new thing in the world.
Exactly, because Esau's women, you know, they don't bulk up. I mean, now because you know the curses are starting to
Stop on them,
yeah. But you know, before then, man, come on, man. Esau ruled his women with a rod of iron, man. But you know, everything's been turned upside down. But that's, you know, prophecy to the scripture. But go ahead and bring it out, huh? Yeah.
Este es 4 Esdras, capítulo 12, capítulo 34. Porque la librará recta de mi pueblo, por los trabajos habrán alegría hasta que venga el último día del juicio, de cual les hablé del principio. So, el tiempo del juicio está por pasar, porque esto ya sabemos, porque nos dijo desde el principio, ¿no? Antes de que todo hubiera formado, dijo que esto iba a pasar. ¿Ok? So, tenemos que prepararnos que caiga el otro zapato, ¿no? Esto ya está por venir, porque la maldad de este lugar ha llegado hasta el reino, ¿no? Hasta los cielos. Y ya se acabó, ¿no? Así como Sodoma y Gomorra fue destruido, así va a ser destruido este lugar, ¿no? So just like Sodom and Gomorrah, they got judged. This place has exceeded Sodom and Gomorrah, man. Beyond that.
Yep. It's like they now.
Because they had infected the whole world with this shit.
They like Sodom and Gomorrah. This is how y'all should have did it in the ancient world. That's pretty much how they are, man.
Yeah, because they're basically the new Canaanites.
Yep.
Because they're doing all the
I mean,
all the sacrifices, all the shit that the Canaanites were doing.
Esau
That's
got
why-
his ways from
That's
Canaan.
exactly. He married into the Canaanites.
That's why but that also goes to show you there's no new thing under the sun,
That's
man.
right.
No new thing under the sun.
So that's why they're doing the same thing as the land of Canaan. And what happened? We had to kill off all those people so we could come into the land and possess the land because they were doing all those wickedness.
They're
man.
doing
So,
all type of abominations.
man,
All type of abominations.
everything they're doing here is like to the third degree, man.
No, really more like the 10th degree,
Yeah,
man.
it's crazy.
It's like at it's like they got the knob turned to like
11.
ultra
11.
maximum, man.
Like what did they say? The amp goes to 10. Well, they're going to go to 11. Boom.
They like, nah, man. But this is Tobit chapter 3, verse 5. And now thy judgments are many and true. Deal with me according to my sins and my fathers, because we have not kept thy commandments, neither have we walked in truth before thee. Now, therefore, deal with me as seemeth best unto thee, and command my spirit to be taken from me, that I may be dissolved and become earth. For it is profitable for me to die rather than to live, because I have heard false reproaches and have much sorrow. Command therefore that I may now be delivered out of this distress, and go into the everlasting place. Turn not thy face away from me. All right. And you know, Yahweh's judgments are many, and like I said, many and true. They're true, man. Whatever he says is gonna come to pass.
That's why Tobit was wise. And, you know, he said, "This, we deserve this, man."
Exactly.
We went out
because-
so bad that we knew that why he was being reproached, why he allowed the Syrians to do that, because he broke the law, statutes, and commandments, man.
We
We
was being
didn't
wicked.
pay up the insurance.
So,
Get out of there, man.
exactly.
You know?
Exactly. We didn't do what was right in the eyes of Yahweh Shemel Shah, so we got judged for it, man. And the same thing goes on today. It may not happen right away, but
Right.
it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to come to pass.
And he
Best
got
believe
that
that,
DMS.
man.
He got it.
Exactly.
It might have taken 30 years, but he
like
got
he told them guys, yeah, I know. And now look at his ass.
He's been knowing for a long time,
He
man.
in the spirit world right now getting his judgment. He's getting his judgment. You know, he gonna rest until, you know, he come back to the mornings of one of the elect in the kingdom of heaven.
After 1,000 years, right?
Bring it out, huh?
So este es el libro de Tobit, capítulo 3, versículo 5. Reconozco que todas tus decisiones son justas. Al castigarme por mis pecados, no hemos cumplido tus órdenes, no hemos sido leales contigo. Trátame como mejor que te parezca. Manda que me quite la vida para que yo desaparezca de este mundo y me convierta en tierra. Prefiero morir a seguir viviendo, y he tenido que aguantar injurias y calumnias y tengo una gran pena. Señor Yahweh, líbrame de estas angustias. Déjame ir al lugar de eterno descanso, que es el reino del Espíritu. Yahweh, no me vuelvas a dar la espalda. Prefiero morir a pasar tantas angustias en mi vida y tener que escuchar tantos insultos. So Tobias was a wise man because he knew exactly why they received that judgment.
Yeah.
But even though receiving that judgment, he was still faithful, doing all the works
Yep.
and all that was asked for. And they were looking at him like he was wicked.
Yep.
And he was like, he went blind, right? Because he had went to go bury the bodies, and if you touch a body, you're unclean to the rest of the day.
Right.
So he slept in the courtyard where the swallows were nesting, and the swallows pooped in his eyes, and the acid messed up his eyes. But it was all a test, man. If you
Yep.
read the whole book, it's very captivating. The whole book, the whole story, because the angel shows up and everything. So, but he was righteous to the end, and he got cured. All that happened, man.
Yep. A
And he
similar,
even-
a similar story of what Job went through, man. Because he
Well, that, and then also because Jonas had got up there, and he also said, guess what? He talked about how the southern kingdom would go to Babylon before it happened, and how eventually Nineveh was going to be destroyed. So it all happened. It took time, because even in his lifetime, It didn't happen, and almost at the end of his lifetime of his son is almost when he heard that Nineveh was destroyed. So it took time. It didn't happen. Woo, hurry up! He's telling him, look, as soon as we die, you boogie out of there, and he did. He went to where the Persians were at, and that's where he dwelt. And almost when he died, he heard that Nineveh was destroyed, and he was happy. You know?
All right, so from there we're going to go to Judith chapter 16 and verse 17. Woe to the nations. That woe meaning destruction. Woe to the nations that rise up against my kindred. The Lord Almighty, Yahweh, will take vengeance of them in the day of judgment, and putting fire and worms in their flesh, and they shall fill them and weep forever. And we're coming to that day of judgment, man.
Yep. And Judith was a Judite, man.
Yep.
A Jew, right? A Judean. So what it says, our kindred, talking about other Jews, man.
Yep.
Not talking about anybody else. It's, she was raised up to become the princess of that king, so that the man that was double dealing and he was killing off all his Jews, he got judged and he got hanged on the gallows, him and all his sons, man. So there you go.
That's righteous judgment.
And that was an Edomite, man. That was an Edomite, man.
Righteous judgment.
Yeah.
That's righteous judgment. Go ahead, Doc.
Este es libro de Judith, capítulo 16, versículo 17. Y de las naciones que amenazan a mi pueblo, y Yahweh Todopoderoso las castigará en el día de juicio, les entregará el fuego y el gusano, y llorarán de dolor y eternamente. Porque eso viene, man. Ese juicio viene. Y fíjate que eso es el tiempo de Babilonia, el tiempo de los persios. Y sabían que el juicio iba a venir, because that's on the time of like Babylon, Persia, you know? And they knew that judgment was coming, man. Our people have always known that this day was going to come. We just have to have the faith and carry that faith to our children so they can follow the law, statutes, and commandments. And that's why we're descendants of Abraham.
Yep.
Because we had the faith that he has, right? That's what we're going to do what he did. And we're going to put our faith in that.
Yep. Go ahead. All right. This is 2 Chronicles chapter 20, verse 9. If, when evil cometh upon us, as a sword, judgment, or pestilence, or famine, and judgment right there is going into that second definition, man. Punishment or penalty. Divine punishment. All right. When evil cometh upon us as the sword, judgment, or pestilence, or famine, we stand before this house in thy presence. For thy name is in this house, and cry unto thee in our affliction, then thou wilt hear and help. And that's right, man. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua hears the prayers of the righteous, and you know those that that believe and have faith in Him sincerely, and that call upon Him without wavering, without having any doubts. He's going to be a help unto them, man. He said he's like a shield unto them that have faith. And what does the shield do to you? It does for you. It protects you. It wards off any projectile or any blow that's going to come to you, man. It deflects all that shit, man.
Because a lot of we've been into 7 captivities back to back to back, and during those 7 captivities, there have been righteous men.
Yep.
Prophets.
There's been prophets in every...
From Isaiah to Jeremiah to Daniel to all these, and they still had to go into captivity. Why? Because we have to get the judgment of our people. And those men got to be raised up in that kingdom, and within that kingdom were those kings to look at their righteousness, man. So you as an individual can rise up in a place because of your faith and your righteousness, and the Creator of heaven and earth might give you a little bit of leniency for your people, just like Judith, just like Daniel, and all these Jeremiah, right? They had compassion on these people, but in the end, it's not our kingdom.
Nope.
Right? Este es segundo Crónicas, capítulo 20, versículo 9. Si no viene algún mal como castigo, sea la guerra, la peste o el hambre, no se presentaremos delante de este templo, porque tú estás en este templo. Y en nuestra angustia te pediremos ayuda, y tú no nos escucharás y no nos salvarás. ¿Por qué? Si tú eres un hombre justo y estás siguiendo las leyes, estatutos
y tienes fe que el Mesías viene por ti, y tú le estás pidiendo algo en sinceramente al Señor, Él te va a oír. Pero si eres alguien que no sigue la ley y estatutos como son estos cristianos o católicos, y le estás pidiendo cosas, Él no te va a obedecer, man. Hay cómo trabaja esto, y te dice que tienes que seguir sus leyes y estatutos, because a lot of our people, you know, they'll pray to God, but the Creator of heaven and earth does not listen to sinners, man.
No, he don't listen to the sinners, and then also they're calling upon the wrong name.
Everything. But, you know, 2/3 is going to be 2/3.
And then, you know, that just goes into them being sinners, because, you know, by them calling upon another name, that's going into idolatry.
That's another guy.
Exactly. He said, have no God before me, man.
That's the first commandment.
Come on. All right. So from there, we're going to go to 2 Chronicles chapter 24, verse 24. For the armies of the Syrians came with a small company of men, and this small company is going into like an army, like a little infantry. And Yahweh delivered a very great host into their hand, because they forsaken Yahweh, the power of their fathers, so they executed judgment against Joash. And I mean, that's pretty much.
And that's embarrassing, because there was a lot of us, but so many little Syrians came that the judgment of the Lord, He gave them us. Imagine 1,000 people just to 1,000 guys. You know, I mean, that's crazy.
That's embarrassment.
That's embarrassment. Like, but it was embarrassing that they had us in captivity. And during those wars, they usually had their kings there. So the king would put up his throne, and you had to pass by the king, and he'd be like, oh, I want him, or I want this woman, or bring me that. And he, you know, that's shameful, because you're just defeat. Yeah, the defeat. I'll give you this woman for these men, or whatever you want. I'm gonna park these niggas to go work in the salt mines or whatever. So, esta es Segunda Crónicas, capítulo 24, versículo 24. Solo había llegado una pequeña destacamento del ejército sirio. So, los asirianos, cuando vinieron contra las 10 tribus, vinieron pocos. Pero Yahweh entregó en manos de ellos un ejército muy numeroso por haber abandonado al Señor Yahweh, Dios de sus antepasados. Así Joás sufrió el castigo merecido. So, es un castigo que vinieron pocos y se llevaron un montón, man. O sea, nosotros somos muchos, man, y podíamos con ellos, pero el Señor no lo quería así, man. So, era un castigo que un ejército tan pequeño se puede llevar tantos israelitas, y los reyes siempre están ahí viendo qué querían de la gente. Pásame esta mujer acá, este hombre para allá, mátame este, y así, man. Esa es una vergüenza, man. Una vergüenza que nos llevaban en filas, ¿sí? Y llevándonos a Siria, man, desde Sumaria. That was an embarrassing, shameful walk. Just like what you would see now in the modern day, the Trail of Tears, man.
Yep.
Think about that. This happened again to the Northern Kingdom, man. That in their own lands, they were expulsed, they were thrown out, they were deported, just like we were back in Samaria, man. We were in Samaria, we were following the last century commandments, we got deported to Syria, man. And that's happening still to this day, man.
Yep.
You got all these kids coming to the United States with no chaperones, man. You got a little kid that was, 5 years old out in the desert by himself crying, man.
Yep.
This is a pedophile's wet dream, man. You got all these kids, and what are they doing with these kids? Abominable things, and you gotta believe it, man.
Yep. Yep.
That they're taking them and doing whatever they want to them. And they said in the newscast that they've been sexually assaulted. Who are you gonna report that to?
Exactly.
Oh well.
Get you away from your parents.
Oh well.
But you know, that's just judgment.
But all those Northern Kingdom, which is like Zebulon, right? And some of Issachar, they're coming just to get their judgment here, man.
Yep.
They're coming all the way from over there, thousands of miles away, just so they can get their judgment. Those 2/3 can get their judgment here.
Yep.
That's how the Creator of heaven and earth works.
It's cold, man.
They don't even live here. They're gonna get the judgment of Babylon. How about that?
He's far out. How about you go far out, man? So this is Psalms chapter 9, verse 8. And he shall judge the world in righteousness. He shall minister judgment to the people in uprightness. Yahweh also will be a refuge for the oppressed, a refuge in the times of trouble. And they that know thy name will put their trust in thee, for thou, Yahweh, has not forsaken them that seek thee. And who's the only ones that have the name? The elect. Because not everybody, I mean, you know, it's the information's out there, man.
Been out there.
It's been out there, but it's really up to Yahweh Bashim Hashai to pretty much if he wants to wake you up. But you know, I can easily say it's up to you to go research or whatever.
Just like you try to drop that seed, that guy was like,
yeah. But it's
high on that Babylon juice, man.
But it's up to the Heavenly Father if He wants you or not. And you know, and then if He wakes you up to this, it's up to the Heavenly Father if He's going to keep you in this or He's going to take you out. Because He probably could have woke you up to the truth just for you to pass it on to somebody else.
And pull you up.
Exactly.
I've seen that happen, man.
I've seen it happen too.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah, but hey, that's one of the scariest things of being in the truth, man. That's why it's important to always pray that He has mercy upon you.
Pray without ceasing.
And pray that you know you're part of the elect, man.
Because
chapter 9, 8 through
9
10.
and 8?
Yeah, 8 through 10.
Ya. Este es Salmos capítulo 9, versículo 8. Pero Yahweh es rey por siempre. Ha firmado su trono para el juicio. Juzgará el mundo con justicia. Dictará a los pueblos justa sentencia. Y Yahweh protegerá a los oprimidos y los protegerá en tiempo de angustia. Porque estamos en captividad, pero Él puede tener piedad sobre nosotros, man. Puede darnos una posición o un lugar que está más arriba de otros, man. Porque tenemos fe en el Señor, man. It's just because we're in captivity, we can't get a little bit of justice or a little bit of like Daniel. You know, He put him up in a high position in Babylon, man.
Yep, but He still kept His integrity, though.
Exactly, because he wouldn't bow down. Remember,
Yep.
Daniel was thrown into the den of lions, and he had faith, man.
Yep.
And that angel brought food to him, man.
Yep.
Yo, man, I didn't know Yahweh did takeout, man. He said he's far out, man.
Exactly.
And you know, and we had testimonies that brothers were in prison, and there was no food. And he turned around and, you know, a cookie appeared or something. And you bet, man, you niggas are crazy, man. But we believe this is true because this is in the scriptures, man.
Yep.
And we have that faith that, you know, He can have a little bit of sympathy for us. You know, because we're in this flesh, man. We're going off all the time, whether we want to believe it or not.
Yep.
And that faith is what's going to cover us, that grace, right? Because under doing just the law, we have no grace. Then you had to be put to death. You had to be doing this. You broke the Sabbath. Oh, you had to be put to death.
Yep.
So, you know, sometimes we be breaking the Sabbath, but not on purpose. You just forget. Like, man, I forgot today was the Sabbath.
Yep.
Or, man, you know, this or that. I just paid for this. We've been doing this for so long and doing righteousness for so little that it's almost like a conflicting, you know.
Yep.
But, you know, it's by practice, you know, rehearsing a righteous act. And that's what we're doing, rehearsing. We're not going to get 100%, right?
Nope.
This is like a play. You're rehearsing, you mess up, and you mess up, and you mess up. But eventually, you start getting better and better.
Exactly.
And that's why, you know, when you're in the truth longer, it's easier. Versus the brother just came in and said, I don't know how you guys could do it.
Yeah.
All 613 laws. There's over 10,000 laws in the United States. What are you talking about? You following all of them? Are you in prison? You paying taxes? You know?
And that's why it's important to remain humble, you know, during this walk, man, because, you know, we're always going on. That's why it's, you know, important not to have that holier than thou spirit that, you know, some brothers will have. And, you know, we just need to, you know, remain humble because, you know, we're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. The only one that was perfect was Yahweh Shai. You know, because there's times we'll fall, you know, like the brother said. Sometimes your work schedule might have you going to work on the Sabbath, man. That don't mean you're wicked. You know, because you still got to receive your daily bread.
Right.
That's why Yahweh Bashim Hashai, we're on the grace right now, man. And He has mercy upon us, man. That's why it's important to just try to the best of your ability. That's all He wants us to do. All right, so from there we're going to go to Wisdom of Solomon chapter 9, verse 3. In order the world according to equity and righteousness, and execute judgment with an upright heart. And, you know, that's how we're going to be when we're in the kingdom. We're going to execute judgment with an upright heart. Now, you know, we're even doing that now, to some extent. You know, that's what we're out here doing right now. We're executing. We're you know, telling people of their, you know, of their sins.
What verse?
You know, Wisdom of Solomon 9 and 3. You know. We try, this is the ultimate form of love that we're doing right here. It's coming out here and, you know, telling our people that they're going off, that they're being wicked or whatever.
Correction.
They may look at us as being, you know,
I'm
hateful.
celebrating my birthday.
Exactly.
You're like-
But the scriptures say it's better to openly rebuke than to have secret love, man.
That's right.
So, you know, don't think of this as us, you know, getting on your ass or whatever. Even though we are, but we're doing it out of love, man.
That's real love.
Exactly.
Somebody telling you the truth.
Exactly.
That's why the so-called Christian, they got no love for you, man.
Hell no.
They've been lying all your life, man. They've been taking your money, your kids, your wife, your pastor be doing whatever he wants with them, man.
Yep.
Esta es Sabiduría, capítulo 9, versículo 3, para que gobierne el mundo con santidad y rectitud y administro justicia con rectitud y corazón. So, eso es lo que estamos llegando a ese tiempo, de que queremos este mundo. On cue, look. They're singing
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, bro. You can't even make that up, bro. Like, I mentioned birthdays, Northern Kingdom on cue, man. You can't even make it.
That's the spirit, man.
But,
That's the spirit.
you know,
Go ahead, bring it out, huh?
let me bring it out again. Esta es Sabiduría, capítulo 9, versículo 3. Para que gobierne el mundo con santidad y rectitud y administre justicia con recto corazón. Y el corazón recto, no tienes que celebrar cumpleaños, man. Estas no están en las escrituras, man. Esto es lo que nos forzaron a hacer los griegos, man. So, ahora ya es parte de nuestra cultura. Oh, vamos a hacerle un pastel, una torta y quién sabe qué. Ese día es maldito, man. Entonces es maldito un día del año, que sea. So, esto es lo importante, que tenemos que abandonar estas tradiciones de hombres, man. We have to abandon these traditions of men.
Yep.
Because it's only
It's only going to destroy us.
that's right.
It's up for our destruction. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, verse 25. Therefore unto them, as the children without the use of reason, thou didst sentence a judgment to mock them. But they that would not be reformed by that correction wherein he dallied with them shall feel a judgment worthy of God. And that's pretty much going into them 2/3, man. Verse 27, for look, for what things they grudge when they were punished, that is, for them whom they thought to be gods, that's in lowercase, now being punished in them, when they saw it, they acknowledged him to be the true God, whom before they denied to know, and therefore came extreme damnation upon them. And that's ultimate judgment. That's going to happen to the whole world, because they don't want to repent. They don't want to take heed to this doctrine.
Right.
They don't want to take heed to this doctrine, and they don't want to follow the ways of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So they're going to receive that extreme damnation, because first he's going to show them that these gods, these false idols that y'all are following, ain't shit.
Right. But it's going to all start with what? The house of Israel. So you're going to see a lot of Latinos and Negroes dropping dead. You go, oh, that's COVID-19. Yeah, COVID-19 was a tool, but the hand that wielded the tool was the Most High, man.
Yep.
You see what I mean?
And then on top of that, also, I've been hearing and seeing a lot of articles that people falling out of the churches, man. That's that prophecy right there. He's showing them that these idols ain't shit, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead, bring it out.
Esta es Sabiduría, capítulo 12, versículo 25. Y por eso, como a niños sin uso de razón, les enviaste un castigo que los puso en ridículo. Y como no escarmentaron en el ridículo y la corrección, tuvieron que sufrir el juicio de Dios que merecían. Versículo 27. Ellos, al verse castigados con aquellos animales que habían tenido como dioses y que ahora eran su tormento, reconocieron que el verdadero Dios era aquel. So, nuestra gente estaba idolatrando, man. En el tiempo cuando Moisés fue a agarrar las tabletas, hicieron ¿a qué? Una vaca de oro, man. Y luego otra vez, cuando el reino del norte fue a vivir a su mar, hicieron 2 vaquitas de oro, man. Dos borregos, man. So,
Nuestra gente abandonó al Señor, man. Imagínate eso. Y agarramos el juicio, man. So, puedes decir, no, pues yo no sabía de eso. ¿Cómo no? Todo el mundo tiene las escrituras, man. There's a lot of people don't read the scriptures, don't even know the whole history of Israel, them going on.
No.
It's continual because our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because the whole history is here. If you start reading this, you're like, damn, man, that kind of sounds familiar, man. Damn, I'm always going to say that's not familiar, man. Man, they were all the way at the bottom. That's not familiar. There's Southern Kingdom going, right?
Yeah, Southern Kingdom over there.
Northern Kingdom over here. They're on cue. Can't make it up, man.
People destroyed, man. But this is the book of Ecclesiasticus, also known as the book of Sirach, in the Apocrypha, 17, verse 10. And the elect shall praise his holy name. Going back to the elect are the only ones that's going to have his name. Beside this, he gave them knowledge in the law of life for heritage. And let's talk about the elect, because we're the only ones, how we're part of the number, but we're the only ones that have this the true knowledge of the scriptures, man. Not this fairy tale that they give you in the churches, man.
Religion.
Exactly.
Religion. Yeah.
Verse 12. He made an everlasting covenant with them and showed them his judgments. Their eyes saw the majesty of his glory, and their ears heard his glorious voice. And he said unto them, beware of all unrighteousness. And he gave them, Salakia, and he gave every man commandment concerning his neighbor. Their ways are ever before him, and shall not be hid from his eyes. So he made an everlasting. How did he make that covenant with us? He gave us this wisdom back.
Statutes, commandments, plus at this time the elect. The elect have that little bit of wisdom, man, compared to all these people that are in darkness.
Exactly.
And your whole family is mad at you because you don't want to partake in these festivities.
Boy, they don't text me no more.
Bro, like they kicked me out of the text. This is toxic. I don't want to hear this. I'm like, these are all scriptures. What are you talking about?
So now
they said you follow another God. He said you're absolutely correct.
Yep.
I follow the God of Israel. Which you niggas don't
I
even
follow
know,
the true power.
Yeah, how, man? Because they're always, oh, we don't celebrate Easter per se with eggs and stuff, but we do celebrate this. What are you talking about, man? Did you celebrate Passover?
Nope.
Crickets. Then what are you talking about? There is no other. Easter is not Passover, and Passover is not Easter. It's not the same.
4:22, they wise do evil, but those do good, they have no knowledge.
So they didn't want to hear that, man.
Exactly.
Healing party?
Gender reveal,
It's a boy, right?
Yep, I see blue over there.
Este es Eclesiásticos capítulo 17, versículo 10. Y alabarán a su santo nombre, les dio también conocimiento y les dejó una ley que de vida hizo una alianza eterna con ellos y les promulgó sus decretos. Ellos vieron la grandeza de la gloria de Dios y oyeron su majestad. Vos les dijo, no hagan nada malo, y les impuso deberes para con el prójimo. La conducta de los hombres siempre presenta ante Dios. Nada escapa su mirada. Eso es lo que estamos pasando, que nadie está escapando su mirada, y el juicio del Señor va a venir a Esú, Edom, que es aquí en Babilonia, los Estados Unidos.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 25, verse 9. The meek will he guide in judgment, and the meek will he teach his way. The ones that's humble, the ones that's meek, because the scriptures say the meek will inherit the earth. So those are the ones he's pretty much only dealing with. Those are the only ones he's dealing with is the meek. That's why he said he's going to teach them his judgment. That's fucking disgusting. Verse 10, all the paths of Yahweh are mercy and truth unto such as keep his covenant and his testimonies. So the meek is really the elect. Because the elect are the meek ones. The elect are the humble ones, man. I mean, majority of the people that's in this truth, and I'm really low-key speaking for myself, we didn't have no big status in the world before we came to the truth. We pretty much was the outcast, black sheep of our family, socially awkward, or whatever, man. Yeah. And Yahweh, had mercy on us to give us this wisdom, open our eyes up to the truth, And I mean, you know, he gave us our manhood back, man. And you know, he was always different from everybody else in the world.
Yeah.
I know myself, I was always a different one. But now I see why.
Yeah. Oh, you know, when you come into this truth, you start analyzing your life. Like,
Yeah. This
and,
is why.
and I even analyzed the life of my father and all the events in his life came to partake. You know, it's crazy. It's like, what? I could have been like that. What if it did go like that? Then my life would be going a different way.
Exactly.
So, yeah,
it was all by design.
Yeah, it was all by
Shot.
design, man. It's crazy, but you know. Salmos capítulo 25, versículo 9. Y él guía por su camino a los humildes, y los humildes son los selectos, ¿sí? Y los instruye en la justicia. Él siempre procede con amor y fidelidad con los que cumplen su alianza y sus mandamientos. Eso está hablando de los selectos que están siguiendo la ley y estatutos y teniendo fe que el Mesías vino para la casa de Israel. So that's on key point. That's just the elect, because the 2/3 of Israel are not doing the law, statutes, and commandments, and don't have faith that Mashiach Yahweh Shai. Right? Well, I'm saying it like that because people believe in Jesus.
Exactly.
Jesus is a whole other God, man.
Baby Jesus.
Yeah, it's some cracker, man. We don't believe in that, man.
Hell no, he is an austere man. He ain't no hippie. What do you say, Charles Manson?
Charles Manson.
He ain't no
Dude
Charles
out there,
Manson
man.
motherfucker, man. He is an austere, rugged man. He doesn't have long hair. If anything, his hair probably how mine is. Woolly, has a beard, not no clean booty face. Man, I mean, hey, you know, the scriptures give a accurate depiction of how he looks, man.
Or you're gonna have these dudes, pastors with this clean beard and lineups. You know what I mean?
Look like it was drawn on.
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Line so goddamn straight, man.
Yeah, go ahead, Al.
All right, so this is the book of Psalms, chapter 33, verse 5. He loveth righteousness and judgment. The earth is full of the goodness of Yahweh. And like we said earlier in the video, man, whether it may seem evil to you, it's good in the eyes of Yahweh Shem Yahshua because
That's
it
right.
had to come to pass,
You
man.
said that baby just that way he do. Or what he doing his last time? He got his
Exactly.
judgment, man.
Exactly.
You know, that might be too deep for people, but that's
It is
how,
what it is.
You know, that's the judgments of the Most High. His thoughts are not
His thoughts,
and
his
your
ways
ways
are
are
not
not
his
your ways.
ways,
So,
man.
you know, when you realize how you're basically
Nothing.
like a grain of salt among this whole beach, you're insignificant, man. You're really insignificant.
All of us are, man.
You know, but as a collective as a whole, we make up something, right?
Yep.
So esto es Salmos 33 y 5. Y Yahweh ama a los justos y los rectos, y su amor llena toda la tierra. Porque los justos van a obedecer la ley de estatutos y van a enseñar esta palabra y van a salir y enseñar y predicar en las calles, man. To see the just and the faithful are going to go on the highways and byways to teach this truth.
Exactly.
Because there's people that believe in this truth, but yet they still don't go out on the highways and byways, right? 'Cause that's how you know. That's how you separate the boys from the men, man.
Yep.
Because out here it might be hot, it might be cold, it might be raining. Some people, you know, some camps will take the whole winter off.
Yep.
You know, you
That's
have
why the
apostles.
scripture is
You have
saying-
apostles like Tahar and Gabar and Ramla, Rakah. They've been out here for 30 years, man.
Rain, sleet, hail, and snow.
Look, can't make this up. Can't make this up. And you know, and these guys are older men. They're in their late 60s, man. Probably getting in the 70s, man. And they're out there. And there's some young men in their 20s going, I don't know about that, man. It's kind of cold out there. You think these men's bones don't hurt, man? Standing out there for 3 or 4 hours? You know, your body's breaking down. You know, I'm an older man compared to some in the truth, but I can feel my body in the cement, you know, like a cave.
Exactly.
Your bones, your back aches, and
Feet hurting and all
Everything,
that.
man, but
you know,
this
we
is
still
all-
we're doing this.
Right.
We're doing this for the love of
That
Yahweh Shem
sacrifice.
Yahshua, man. Yeah. That righteous sacrifice. Because the world is the altar, man. And here we are offering ourselves as a sacrifice, man. That's why the scriptures say, make your bodies a living sacrifice.
That's right.
So from there we're gonna go to the Psalms. Oh no.
We just read Psalms 33.
Yeah, I was sitting here expounding. I forgot to go to the next one.
Mm.
The Psalms chapter 37, verse 28. Psalms 37, verse 28. For Yahweh loveth judgment, and forsaketh not his saints. They are preserved forever, but the seed of the wicked shall be cut off. And who is his saints? The saints are the Israelites.
Israelites,
The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. He loveth judgment, and he loves his saints, man.
And what he
love
says about the
everybody
wicked?
else. They're going to get cut off.
That's right. You can't make that up.
The
man.
seed of the wicked is going to be cut off, man. Going into the wicked 2/3 of our people. Esau, the so-called white man,
Right.
and these other heathen nations. They're going to get cut off, man.
Salmos 37 y 28. Pues Yahweh ama la justicia y no abandona a quienes los son fieles, pero destruye a los malvados y los deja sin decencia. So aquí te está diciendo los fieles, sí, los santos, son los hijos de Israel, pero los malvados son los impíos, son los idomitas, son esos caucásicos, el hombre blanco, el europeo, ¿sí? Ellos van a recibir su juicio, y el tiempo de su juicio está cerca, man. The judgment of the Lord upon these Edomites is at hand.
Yep, it's
You
coming,
can't make
man.
this up, and they feel it, they can see it.
The 2/3,
Everywhere
man.
they go, how they look at you, they kind of, they kind of look down now. You see them down on the ground, you see them shooting up all the time. You see them homeless now, man.
Yep. I ain't never seen this many homeless Edomites, man. They're known to be Jake.
Yeah,
No other than Southern tribe out there, man.
for real. And now you see these Edomites, like, nah, hell no, man. You're reaping what you sow, man.
Exactly. So we're going to the same chapter, Psalm 37, we're going to jump down to verse 30. The mouth of the righteous speaketh wisdom, and his tongue talketh judgment. And pretty much, Lord willing, we're the righteous because we're out here speaking this wisdom, trying to give y'all the true wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures, and we also execute that judgment,
Well,
man.
there's nobody else in this park doing it.
Exactly.
We walked around. Everybody's doing birthdays or having a good time in the swings or playing basketball. Ain't nobody doing this. That's why people look at us. They look at us with disgust. You see,
Looking at us as disgust
and there's
and
always the
confusion.
babies, right?
Yeah,
The babies are real hard. And that lady, we were talking about cellulite. Like, oh, yeah, man.
Yeah,
she was
rotten
out there
thighs,
with
man.
She
Talking
had
about the little fat bitch.
short shorts, man.
Yeah, you see
Yeah.
all that cellulite, man. She had rotten
Yeah, that's
thighs.
what I'm telling you,
That
man.
you know she's an adulteress,
Yeah,
man.
there you go, man.
But the mouth of the righteous speaketh wisdom, and his tongue talketh judgment. The law of his power is in his heart, and none of his steps shall slide. And that's right, man. Because the law, statutes, commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahushua is in our heart. And going into your minds, man. It's in our minds. We meditate on these scriptures day in and day out, man. Even if we're not watching videos or reading the scriptures, man, we're constantly thinking about this truth because it's nothing but prophecy popping off in front of us, man. You see nothing but judgment happening, man. So you have no choice, if you're a true man of the Lord, to think of these things, man. Go ahead, Doc.
Salmos capítulo 37, versículo 30. El hombre bueno habla con sabiduría, el hombre bueno habla con justicia, lleva en el corazón la enseñanza de su Dios, jamás revelarán sus pies. So ahí está, man. Y los justos son los electos, man, que van a estar haciendo esta labor o que tienen la fe, ¿sí? Porque hay mujeres que también están en esta verdad. El tercio de Israel, hay mujeres y niños y niñas que están en esta verdad, que son elegidos para ser salvados. You see, there's women that they're not out here preaching because they're of the elect. They're not supposed to be preaching, but they're supposed to have faith and support their man if they're in this truth. And there's these women that are going to be in the truth.
Yep.
It tells you in the scriptures, you know.
Yep. So from there we're going to go to Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 16. And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment. But what's the place of judgment? The earth. That wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness. That iniquity was there. And I'm going to read the verse 17. I said in my heart, Yahweh shall judge the righteous and the wicked, for there is a time there for every purpose and for every work.
God.
So it's pretty much, hey, it's a time and place for everything, man. So right now, you know, for y'all people that's out there being wicked, man.
And that's Ecclesiastes chapter 3. There's a
Yeah,
time and a place.
for everything,
Time
man.
to be born, a time to die,
yeah.
and there's a time to kill.
Yeah,
It tells you that in the scriptures.
So,
that's
you know,
that's a
for
couple
y'all-
verses up.
For y'all ones that's being wicked,
Yeah, man.
you may think that you're not getting judged or whatever, but the time's coming, man.
God.
The time's coming.
There's a season for everything. You just don't plant something and then just, well, wait how it's going to come out. It takes a due season, man.
Exactly. It takes time.
Just
because
like, you
that
can-
seed has to get nurtured, it has to
Right.
germinate,
Right.
it has to get fed, and then it has to sprout, and it grows, man. Like, it's a whole process. The same thing with this judgment. You know, that's why we're under grace right now, because, you know, he's letting the wicked
Build up charges,
build
man.
up their charges.
Yeah.
They build is exceeding, and then the righteous, they're doing things to, you know, get those charges that they had, they get them crossed out, man.
Right,
And then when the time of judgment comes, he's gonna weigh in the balance. He's gonna be like, okay, well, you know, this guy had faith, and you know, he had good works or whatever. Let me save him. Oh man, you was wicked as all outdoors. You gone, man. You know,
They've been going to church since 1969, but never follow no laws, statutes, and commandments, right?
Still eating pork and shrimp and all.
Because you
that
see all them old women, right, at the churches.
with them big ass hats.
Yeah, and you know they always go to church, but they don't even follow. And those are the most wicked people you'll ever know, man.
Yep, you fucking the pastor.
Este es Eclesiastes capítulo 3, versículo 16. Y podido ver también que en este mundo hay corrupción y maldad, donde deberá haber justicia y rectitud. Por lo tanto, digo de Dios, juzgará al hombre honrado y al malvado, porque hay un momento para todo lo que ocurra y para todo lo que se hace. So, hay tiempo para todo, man. Hay tiempo que vas a plantar y hay tiempo que vas a cosechar. Hay tiempo de nacer y hay tiempo de morir. Y hay tiempo de matar, man. Eso está en el mismo capítulo, Eclesiastes capítulo 3 te dice eso, man, para que lo leas, man. You know, that we went at 16, but if you read 13, it tells you there's a time for everything, man.
Exactly.
And it breaks it down so sweet, man. When I
Exactly.
heard that, I was like, man, that is on point, man.
It's a
And now I
time.
heard that part that it's a time to kill. What the hell?
Exactly.
Didn't Joshua kill off all those Canaanites?
Yep.
Did Yahweh stone them?
Nope.
That's right.
Because it was a time. It was
Time
the
and place, because their wickedness had come up.
Exactly.
And the time of the wicked's time is at hand.
Exactly.
So there
Exactly.
you go.
So from there we're gonna go to Matthew chapter 7. I'm gonna start at verse 1.
Okay.
Judge not that you be not judged. And see, people will hear this and see, like,
Yeah.
see, you can't judge me, you can't judge me.
Right,
But
right,
keep
right,
reading,
right.
keep reading. Verse 2. For with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged, and with what measure ye meet, it shall be measured to you again. But that goes into, you know, we need to have righteous judgment. Because, you know, and as if you continue reading, it goes, you know, how you examined yourself. While you are, you know, looking at the mold of your brother's eye, but you're not, you know, looking at your mold.
That's
Or
right.
whatever. That's why before you judge somebody, you need to make sure that you know you're not involved.
Prepare yourself, my son, when you come serve the Lord. That's
Exactly.
right. You can't be,
Don't
you know,
be a hypocrite.
A hypocrite and be doing the same thing and then telling someone not to do it. You're doing the same. That's what the Pharisees were doing.
Exactly. Exactly.
You got to clean yourself. You got to
That-
rectify
and
yourself.
that's what that scripture means
Yeah,
right there.
yeah.
It doesn't mean that, oh, you can't judge nobody. No, you before you judge somebody.
Don't
you
worry,
need to make
yeah,
sure
I
you
put
know
it in there then. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to get to that verse, man.
Exactly.
Because that's a fallacy. And when you read that, they get stumped. Like, well, that's really in there? Yeah, that's really in there. So este es Mateo, capítulo 7, versículo 1. No juzguen a otros para que Dios no los juzgue a ustedes. Pues Dios los juzgará a ustedes de la misma manera que ustedes juzgaron a otros y con la misma medida con que ustedes den a otros, a Dios les dará a ustedes. So, el juicio que va a venir por el Señor, pero a la mano de Israel. You see, a lot of people don't know that the judgment of the Lord is going to be used by the hand of Israel.
Exactly.
See, a lot of people, oh yeah, the Lord is going to judge me. That's right, he's going to judge you. But he's going to be judged, and he's going to use his battle axe, which is what? His weapons of war. Israel.
Either it's gonna be us, or it's gonna be you're gonna the missile that you're gonna eat, man. It's either one or the other, or concentrated fire from the chariots, man, or have them death angels out of you, man, or the pestilence. I mean, there's different things that he can use to judge you with.
Different
man.
people have different sentences.
Exactly.
Not all sentences are the same.
So from there we're gonna go to Matthew chapter 12, verse 18. Behold my servant, whom I have chosen, my beloved, in whom my soul is well pleased. I will put my spirit upon him, and he shall show judgment to the Gentiles. Okay? And you know, that can go into, you know, the men of Israel. And you know, that also can go into Yahushua too, man. That can also go into Yahushua because, you know, he is the only begotten son. He's the servant of his father, Yahweh. On the right hand side, he's the top angel on the right hand side. And you know, he's the chosen. He's the only begotten.
That's right.
And he's his beloved. And then on top of that, Yahweh's spirit is well pleased with Yahushua. Because he
went through it after all, you know, because he was praying not to go through it, man.
Exactly.
Is there any other way?
No.
Let your way be through. Because he was saying, look, is there any other way that I can get out of this?
Yeah, Yahweh giving
there were no answers three times.
And they're pretty much telling him, man up, man.
That's right.
Man up.
You know, because that's a heavy thing. You're in the flesh.
Exactly.
You feeling the fear, man. You know you're going to have to go through with this, man.
Yep.
So he was just like, you know, okay, well, let your will be done. That's what he said. Este es Mateo capítulo 12, versículo 18. Aquí está mi siervo, a quien ha escogido, mi amado, a quien me ha deleitado. Pondré sobre ti mi espíritu y proclamar justicia a las naciones. So, los electos van a juzgar estas naciones, man, porque el Señor va a levantar 144,000 hombres, que son los electos, las primeras frutas, que les va a poner su Espíritu Santo para juzgar estas naciones. Because, you know, the elect, there's the 1/3, but there's 144,000.
Yep.
And those are all men.
That's the elect of the elect.
Right. And those are the first fruits. So
Come on.
those first fruits are going to judge all these nations because they're going to bring war.
Yep.
And we're going to go out there with spiritual power and be flexing, man. You better believe that. Yeah, man.
So this is the same chapter, Matthew chapter 12. Now we're going to go to verse 36. But I say unto you that every idle word that man shall speak, they should give account thereof in the day of judgment. For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned. So that's why it's important for you to watch what you say, man. Yep. Watch what you say. Because everything, you know, everything you say, man, you have angels all around you jotting down and recording everything that you're saying.
I saw a video maybe from like 12 years ago, you know, from the elders of GMS out there in New York. They were talking to a woman, and this man passed by and he said, "Oh, you guys are dumb," or something. And then Tahar goes, "What'd you say? Say that again." He said, "You guys are dumb," or something like that. He's like, "Yeah, I need you to say that." Because he knows the scriptures that he's going to be judged by what he said to the elect, man.
Yep.
And those men are, believe it or not, those are the elect 100%, man.
Yep, come on.
You got to believe that they got a heavy spirit
You
to
can
go
tell.
out there, and you can tell, man,
For
because
all
they
them
go,
years, man.
yeah, all them years, and how all the other camps come against GMS. Why? Because they tell you they know the truth, and nobody can come against them. Man.
Yep. Go ahead, Doc.
Este es Mateo capítulo 12, capítulo 36. Y yo les digo que en el día del juicio todos tendrán que dar cuenta de cualquier palabra inútil que hayan pronunciado, pues por su propia palabra serán juzgados y declarados inocentes o culpables. So, todo lo que digas contra los hombres del Señor va a ser, ¿sí? Va a ser juzgado en el día de juicio, man. Todo, porque ahí hay ángeles rodeando cuando está esta palabra saliendo, man. Because, you know, the angels come pass around you when this word comes out.
Yep.
And they're there to take notice of what you're doing and who's coming against you. Oh, okay. Oh, nigger woman with short. Okay, got it.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
you know what I mean?
Yep.
And then next week she might have a car accident and be decapitated. Man.
Yep. You never know, man. You never know.
See, because Earl Simmons just got judged, man.
Yep. For not taking heed to the words of the prophets that was bringing it out, man.
'Cause I'm sure growing up in New York City that he's seen brothers out there, man. You know, he
All
grew
the
up in the '70s, so that was right after Abba Bivens and then. So you got to know that those camps were out there, man.
Yep, gone.
So he, you know, there's no excuse.
There's no, you took the words right
no
out of my mouth.
excuse.
There's no excuse, man. So this is John chapter 7, verse 24. This going back to what we was talking about when we was reading Matthew, the 7th chapter. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. And this is written in red, so this is Lord Yahushua speaking, who you people ignorantly call Jesus. He told us that it's okay for us to judge. Just don't go off the appearance. And how do you judge righteous judgment? Go through the Holy Spirit, man. You judge that person's spirit, not from what you see on the outward appearance, man.
Because there might be somebody that looks like an Edomite, but he's like, you know what, I agree with your judgment, and you just kind of pushing it. Because, you know, their spirit, the devil spirit's going to come out. So you just got to keep going with the scriptures, and eventually it's like somebody holding their breath. They got to take a breath, and then the devil will come out of them.
Yep.
And then you go, yeah, you were a devil, see?
Yep.
And then they'll tell you, oh, they are your spec, and that's right, man.
Yep.
We know you. You know what I mean?
We know. We
And,
know.
and we know there's like I said, there's a confusion of face or whatever you want to call them, right? Speckled birds.
Birds.
So
Israelite
we know,
foreigners.
so we got to try that spirit. We just can't just judge you. Okay, well, you know, I think you're an Edomite.
Exactly.
I don't believe your dad's a Negro or Hispanic. But,
Because we were scattered to the four corners of the earth. So only it makes sense that we'll look like the other nations because we'll intermingle with them.
right.
And eventually the offspring will begin to look like the other nations. The seed is starting to be diluted, man.
Right.
Go ahead, Doc.
Este es Juan capítulo 7, versículo 24. No juzguen ustedes por las apariencias. Cuando juzguen, háganlo con rectitud. So, cuando estamos viendo a una persona y le estamos haciendo preguntas, no lo estamos juzgando por su apariencia, cómo se ven. ¿Sí? Porque los hijos de Israel son negros, latinos, indígenas, pero sabemos que nuestra gente fue vendida a todas partes del mundo. Yo sé que exactamente los mexicanos y peruanos terminaron en qué? En las Filipinas, man. Mucha gente no sabe eso, hice un video de eso, del intercambio de esclavitud en el Pacífico, saliendo de Acapulco a Manila, Filipinas. You know, because I did a video, because everybody hears about the transatlantic slave trade, but there was a trans-Pacific slave trade. I did a video on it, how they were getting gold and silver from Asher down in Peru and in Mexico, and then from there they would cross the Pacific, go straight to Manila, and the Chinese were doing backdoor deals, and they would bring silver and things to Manila, so they wanted to be going to the Philippines, so there was, to China, but there were deals. And they were taking us and selling us over there, and they were bringing Filipinos and bringing them over here.
I'm about to check. I'm about looking at it. I've never heard of the
Trans-Pacific. This is going on simultaneously while the Atlantic trade's going on, the Pacific trade is going on.
Dang.
So a lot of people don't know about that.
But that's that going into Egypt again on ships.
Yeah, because there was this woman. She's a so-called Mexican Issacharite, but she had like Asian features, and she was traveling in Vietnam. People were like, "Are you Filipino?" She had to come Asiatic, and then later back she went back to Mexico. She started asking, hey, by the way, and like she said that her great grandfather might have been Filipino because they ended up, or Japanese, something like that, one of them, because they ended up that during World War II when they did the internment camps. Mexico went along with it, and they got the Japanese and they put them in central Mexico so they wouldn't get close to get away or be a spy, and they were being watched. And those people, some of them changed their last names, and some of them didn't. But they intermarried among, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of that already going on. And so that was a very interesting video that I did. I knew about it, but I didn't know that much, and how, and what was why Manila? And really it was because of the Chinese deal, because the Portuguese had the whole deal with them. They had a deal, so the Spanish couldn't get it. It was the Dutch and the Portuguese that had all these spices and whatever. So the Spanish had all the gold. So they're like, we got all this gold just sitting in bars. And the Chinese are like, okay, well, we'll sell to you, but we'll take it to Manila. That way we don't break the treaty. And you're good. And that's why you get all those pirates of the Caribbean. They were robbing those things the British were going against the Spanish and so on and so forth, and the British were out there which is the Seven Seas, which is in Asia, and raiding the ships of the Spanish.
Wow.
So that's where you get the piracy, or the act of piracy. You have to be commissioned by the crown to do it, and some of them were doing it illegally. Some were doing it illegally.
Man.
Yeah, man. Go ahead.
All right, so this is going to be the closing scripture right here.
Yeah.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 15. But he that is spiritual judges all things, yet he himself is judge of no man.
You better read that again, because I think you read that wrong.
All right, yeah, let me read a little bit. Let me read a little bit more slowly for those that are slow in hearing.
Yeah, because some people read it, whoa, you contradicting yourself,
Exactly.
man.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 15. But he that is spiritual judgeth all things, yet he himself is judged of no man.
Damn.
Exactly.
Can't get around that.
Hell no, and that scripture's pretty much plain, man. We're spiritual men. Those that woken up to this truth, we judge all things, man.
Right.
To the goddamn we just judge everything, man, because that's part of being circumspect, man. Being aware, being on your P's and Q's, as they say in the world, man. You gotta be you gotta be alert, man. So you gotta judge everything, man.
You're a watchman upon the house of Israel.
Exactly. Exactly. Go ahead, Doc.
Este es 1 Corintios capítulo 2, versículo 15. Pero aquel que tiene el Espíritu puede juzgar todas las cosas y nadie lo puede juzgar a él. So ahí está, hermanos. Porque te dicen, no puedes juzgar. Aquí te estás diciendo que sí podemos juzgar y nadie nos puede juzgar a nosotros. So, léeme leerlo otra vez, porque quizás puedes, no, hermano, creo que lo leíste.
You need to read that again, man.
Because I don't think you read that wrong, man. He might have some dyslexia or something.
Read a little bit slow, man.
Right. Este es 1 Corintios capítulo 2, versículo 15. Búsquenlo en la Biblia, man. Ahí está, man. Pero aquel que tiene el Espíritu puede juzgar todas las cosas y nadie lo puede juzgar a él. So, hey, man, call halal Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, man.
Real, man.
Porque mucha gente no sabe estas escrituras, man. Y cuando saca esta verdad, corta, man. Is this true? It'll cut you, man. It'll cut you deep.
It's a two-edged sword, man.
And you try to go against it, you're about to get sliced and diced, man.
Sliced and diced, man. But with that, man, we pray and hope that this lesson was edifying. We want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Makakodash. We want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, blessing, safety, and salutation unto the hopeful elect, to you believers and listeners out there that came back into the faith and obedience of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. And much love and respect unto you brothers pushing this gospel in sincerity and truth. It's either repent, man, or die, man.
There's no intermediate.
No, there's no intermediate. There's no gray area. And doors of grace and mercy are closing, man. So, it'd be in your best interest, man, to come back into the ways of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai.
Hey, Shalom Israel, y gracias por la edificación que sacamos y ojalá que fueron edificados por estos videos. Y doble honores a los maestros de la Gran Piedra del Molino donde aprendimos esta verdad. Y los hermanos que están laborando en las 4 esquinas del mundo, sacando estas buenas noticias a las 4 esquinas del mundo, a nuestra gente que están en todos los países del mundo, y que la casa de ellos sean bendecidos y barakatá sus casas por hacer esta labor en este tiempo, este tesoro que fue dado a nosotros. So, shalom, hermanos, y doble honores a ustedes.
With that, shalom, Kwam Yasharala, and Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Baba Kashah, Baba Kashah, Baba Kashah, Abar Babal.
Babal, Babal.
Destroy Babylon.
That's right.
Shalom.
Shalom.